you asked who the architect is, at least in Nigerian context, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's Barack Obama. This genocide, this current jihad, did not exist until Obama unleashed it on purpose. So, in an accidental twist of history, Nigeria ended up in 2010 with a Christian Southern president. He was not supposed to be the president. He was a token vice president. Then the president got sick and died. And so Goodluck Jonathan took office. And it was like LBJ, becoming president. It was the year before the election. And so he was swept in to be the president. Well, that's not supposed to happen in Nigeria. It's rigged so that that would never happen. This was right during the Arab Spring time when Obama was flipping a lot of nations towards radical Islam. So there was a radical northern warlord, Muhammad Buhari, who had been a former military dictator. There was a perennial presidential candidate, never got anywhere with it. He had been on the record calling for global Sharia law, on the record calling for Sharia law across Nigeria at any cost. This guy all of a sudden emerged. And oh, by the way, he was also the man that Boko Haram, the terrorist group, requested that he be the guy that mediates for them with the federal government. So he's a friend of Boko Haram. All of a sudden, at the time when Jonathan had traction, it was the only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back. But all of a sudden, on the surface, they start losing. Boko Haram attacks villages, drives people out of their
People will live many lives at different times, but for some, life unfolds as one continuous journey, from business owner to mayor of a small town in Texas, to missionary, to becoming a person of interest in a country where the national security advisor can call your phone, and where some observers argue that your advocacy helped shape the international attention that eventually preceded the first time the United States carried out an airstrike on Nigerian soil. Imagine updating your will, saying goodbye to your family, and traveling to a country your own government has designated as level 4 security threat. In Nigeria, Mike Arnold has accumulated as many admirers as critics, from displaced families in IDP camps whose children attend schools supported by his Africa Arise organization, to IPOB supporters who evolved from skeptics to allies, to Muslims who strongly reject his claim of an ongoing Christian genocide in Nigeria. Arnold has been there, done that, and kept speaking. A devoted husband, father, and grandfather from Blanco, Texas, Mike has been married to his wife, Amy, for 32 years. He's the kind of old-school Texan who appears to have built his life around family, faith, work, and conviction. Together, they have 4 grandchildren, 4 dogs, 9 cats, countless puppies and kittens, chickens, pigs, cows, and even a peacock back home. But the story does not end with family man, former mayor, and missionary. No, Mike's current public identity has been shaped by a dramatic shift from humanitarian and faith-based work to direct political advocacy. His social media platforms, once dominated by mission updates and Africa Arise activities, now focus heavily on what he describes as jihad, genocide, persecution, and state complicity in Nigeria. The tone is no longer merely pastoral and missionary. It is confrontational, accusatory, and unapologetically political. That transformation is perhaps the most visible in his relationship with Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB movement. What began as skepticism and rejection evolved into support, alignment, and public solidarity. Arnold was a signatory to the Sokoto Declaration, a political document released on May 30th, 2026, in collaboration with IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. That declaration outlined a framework for the self-determination of various marginalized ethnic groups within Nigeria, placing Arnold firmly inside Nigeria's debates over self-determination, federalism, and constitutional restructuring, rather than outside them as a foreign observer. That fact alone explains why many Nigerians no longer see him as simply a missionary. Then there is the Alex Barbie action. Arnold has been photographed with Barbie, fueling public curiosity and speculation about the extent of his ties to figures within Nigeria's activist and political ecosystem. Allegations and controversies surrounding Barbie's activities in Nigeria have only deepened the suspicion with which some Nigerians now view Arnold. To his critics, this forms part of a broader pattern, a foreign advocate inserting himself into some of Nigeria's most sensitive political fault lines. His relationship with the Nigerian government has become so bad, especially after he publicly accused the government of enabling or failing to stop what he characterized as genocide against Christians. Once welcomed by some as a sympathetic outsider, Arnold increasingly became the target of criticism from government officials, commentators, and online activists who accuse him of exaggeration, destabilization, and importing foreign influence into Nigeria's domestic affairs. To his supporters, he is speaking truths that others are afraid to name. To his critics, he is helping inflame an already fragile situation. And that, ultimately, is the heart of the matter. Mike Arnold no longer operates like a missionary who simply visits Nigeria. He now functions as a movement figure, a political witness, and a persistent narrator of crisis. His public platforms reflect that evolution clearly. From schools in IDP camps and mission updates to videos and statements about jihad, genocide, state failure, and international pressure. He has moved from relief work to advocacy, from aid to accusation, from observation to open confrontation. So why does this Texas man choose Nigeria as the arena for all of this? Because Nigeria is where all of his identities now collide. Father, grandfather, missionary, former mayor, activist, ally of those he believes are marginalized and oppressed. All right, now join me, please, in welcoming to the show the one and only former mayor of Texas, Blanco City in Texas, Mike Arnold. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here and a great honor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We are really excited, and people are home. They've been waiting for you to come here and help break it down for us. So let me start by asking you that this last week, President Trump came out, more or less sounding as if there is now victory in Nigeria, that because of his intervention, that genocide in Nigeria is over. What do you make of that comment from?
It is troubling to me, and I haven't commented on it yet. This would be my first time to do so because I'm still wrestling with it. Here's what I know, a couple things. First of all, when you see how Trump has moved in this whole process. It's all been a response to public outcry. So he was doing nothing with Nigeria until it was September that Bill Maher and Ted Cruz started talking about the Nigerian Christian genocide. And then Trump comes out and he says he's going to look into it. Okay. So that was response to public outcry. Then October 14th, the fated press conference in Abuja that had 3.2 billion global impressions within 72 hours. It was shortly after that he pledged to come gun blazing. Again, the public outcry. He's been distracted in Iran, and the outcry has died down. And, I hate to say it, but the clincher is this last week, there was the greatest opportunity to move the needle. There was an organization that formed this coalition and did a rally and a gala in Washington, D.C., but they got co-opted and became de facto Tinubu rally. They had the Nigerian embassy representative platformed, talked 20 minutes about how great Tinubu is. There was no counter messaging to that. They were celebrating this partnership. And I don't think it's a coincidence that a couple days later, Trump comes out and says, oh, we're all okay now. What he means is the public outcry has died down and he can move on. So what I believe the only thing we can do right now is to get as loud as we possibly can across America, across Nigeria right now, and move that needle again to get his attention. And that's the only thing we can do. But it's troubling to me. He's surrounded by corrupt advisors and sleazy lobbyists and just spineless people all around. It's time to get loud.
We're going to talk about the people around him and how he's viewing Africa. But I want you to talk about the lawmakers who went to Nigeria, who were pushing this. Are they also not reaching out to him anymore? What is going on? Why is it that it appears as if he's moving in the other direction?
There's some strong voices in Washington for sure that seem to know what's going on. But Trump didn't pick one of them. He picked a freshman congressman from West Virginia, which is a backwater state. No offense to anybody in West Virginia, but it's not it's largely rural. Let me put it that way. And they picked this freshman congressman that had no background to that. And you look at Riley Moore, look at his social media profiles, and he's all over his district talking about the county fair and this new factory and all this stuff. And Trump hands him Nigeria to spearhead this. No background in it whatsoever, new to Congress. And he goes over there, he does a trip. Bless his heart. I mean, that's a brave thing to do. I don't know how the trip was managed. I imagine it was handled by the Nigerian government. He's touched. He comes back and he makes some recommendations to Trump. I mean, come on, give anybody a few months to look at it. And I was hopeful of this administration. When they first got elected, they do good PR. But he didn't have the background or the time or the attention to really look deeper than that. And in that environment, especially, is when lobbyists can be very influential because they sort of manage the narrative. There's a bubble around the Capitol. And I would never accuse him of doing anything unethical or dishonest or accepting a bribe. Not that, but he was certainly influenced by that bubble. There's no doubt about it. And to come out with statements like we're glad to be working with the Nigerian government. And then after the Palm Sunday massacre, to come out and have this bold warning that if it keeps going, it may strain international relations. You don't talk to a strong man that way. You don't talk to a Nigerian that way. They'll laugh at you. And so this guy's way out of his depth. I think he's a good person, and I think he means well. And his goals are good, but he has no idea how to achieve them, and he's advised the president poorly. There's no doubt about it.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the people lobbying the government in Washington for the Nigerian government? How big is it? How influential is it? How are they controlling the narrative?
These are, the visible stuff is pretty lame, and they're just trying to distract people like me. They have I think 89 followers on their X account. And they post this cheesy, this slimy stuff. But I don't respond. I don't care. I make fun of them. That's not what that's not their strong suit. They're behind the scenes manipulators. They're sneaky. They know how to angle in on people. They know how to work their way through the staff and through the echo chamber and apply pressure here and there and really steer people. That's what they do, and it's hard to measure. But well, it's not hard to measure. It's certainly at least $10 million worth. But I think they're having a great impact, and it's devastating. And we really need to band together, stand up, and get really loud, really fast. Or what I believe, if Trump does look away, if he declares it done, the backlash will be absolute. They will dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. There's no one that'll stop them at that point. They're going to stop playing the game that they care. That's what's at stake here.
Mm. We'll get into details, but let me take you back to Nigeria. Currently, there are school children and their teachers who are in captivity for more than 40 days in a forest in Oyo State. When you hear stories like that, what comes to your mind? How do you analyze it?
It's almost incomprehensible. It's like something out of a horror movie. It's so foreign to people in the United States, at least. Nothing like that would ever happen here. Not even close. It couldn't begin to happen here. And if it did, the government reaction would be immediate and absolute, and without mercy. And the president would probably fly down himself to the command center. That's what would happen here if something like that were to happen. But we have armed guards in pretty much every school now, and they're well trained. This, you can't walk into a school without getting buzzed in. It's a secure environment, and very seriously so. So it would never ever happen here. So it's very hard for me to relate. But the government's non-response first is horrific. They have the technology and they know where these people are. They could take them out. And any special forces team worth their salt could get in there and take those terrorists out. The government has no desire to do so. Why? We could get into that, but yeah, it's worse than incompetence. It's worse than incompetence. It's complicity at some level.
For those watching at home who may not live in the West, in the United States or in any Western country, you were a mayor in the Blanco. If you were a mayor and this happened under your watch, what would be the process for you to begin to deal with that? And how will you be dealing with that 40 days after?
Well, so immediately our law enforcement would spring. They would have a command center set up. They would spring into motion multiple law enforcement agencies, the local police, the county sheriff, the justice of the peace. We have multiple law enforcement agencies that are local in the state level, and maybe even the National Guard would come in. I mean, it would be. I passed up the road a few years back on the highway. There was a hostage standoff. Some crazy guy had, it was domestic.
Was it at Waco, Texas?
It was just north of Blanco, Texas. No. It was not. It was just a domestic violence thing. Oh. But there were literally 100 police cars that were on the scene, like that. I mean, from all over they came in. So that would happen immediately. There are, there would be triggers for the state to come in with their crisis management teams and their resources. They would be counseling the families. And making sure all their needs were taken care of, and there would be an information center on all of it would be right there. And then the law enforcement, they would be putting it into it very quickly. That's what would happen here. It would be completely dealt with very rapidly, and it would make every headline in every newspaper until it was over, and every TV show. It would be a big deal because it's never happened, and it never will.
And as mayor, how would that impact your life? Because it appears as if the Nigerian government, they continue to do things as normal, as if nothing is going on.
it wouldn't just be me as mayor. It would be every elected official up the chain to the president would be completely on the case and not distracted until it was solved. You don't see the president going and play golf during a crisis like that. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, it would be all focused. It was nothing near that close, but we had an issue with our city water supply when I was mayor. We're not a big city. It's like 2,000 people in it. The mayor's job is effectively a volunteer job. So, I mean, but we had a water line issue that affected the whole town, and I dropped everything immediately. And the city staff, it was after our city staff came in. I called in several local leaders that came in, and within an hour, we had a crisis center set up, and we were dealing with multiple aspects of it. And that was just a water issue. So, yeah, that's what happens here. That's what happens in a civilized government.
So we know that the American soldiers are in Nigeria, and in a situation like this, do you know? By the way, do you know their responsibilities? What are they assigned to do?
But I don't know. I would imagine it's been intel and surveillance. I know there's supposed to be some drones there and such. But at the same time, they were supposedly U.S. Special Forces operatives involved in taking out that ISIS guy. I don't know have all the details, but I believe that's some boots on the ground in that action.
Do you think that the Special Forces might be in getting these kids out and the teachers from the forest?
I think it's a good question. There needs to be a legal basis for it. Has Tinubu invited him, asked him to do that? I think that would be required. I'm just speculating here, but I have no doubt they could get him out. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're talking about untrained hacks with AK-47s that have never been faced any opposition, never had any real training. Come on, our special forces could wipe them out in a heartbeat.
So there is this Nigerian musician, Davido. I don't know if you know him, if I heard about him. He performed at the World Cup, which is ongoing at the moment, and he wore T-shirts trying to bring attention to the kids that were students that were picked up by bandits. And government officials, including your friend, Reno Mokuri, started criticizing him for making that he was not being patriotic, that he was exposing what shouldn't be exposed to the world. What do you make of that? Because what we're doing today, what we're now doing, maybe tagged as,
it's the suppression. I mean, what did I say? Moves the needle. It's for any, how can I say this? For any political office holder to do something outside of their constituency, that uses up political capital with no real gain. There needs to be pressure from the constituency to drive the action. And again, that's what moved Trump to do CPC. That's what moved Trump to take military action, was the public outcry. I mean, you can track it. And so that's what they're spending the money on. That's why, this Shambassador is a PR guy. Funny, when it was a different president that didn't pay him, he was out there screaming about the Nigerian Christian genocide just a couple of years ago. He's, notice he took Free Leah Sharibu off of his handle now. Leah who? He's doing everything he can to suppress the bloodshed, the mass graves, the genocide. He would bury it all to keep his favor with President Tinubu. That's the strategy. We had eyewitnesses, genocide survivors, victims that were set to testify back in March, and the Nigerian government's lobby firm came out and called them all political opportunists, and just horrible to slander these survivors of genocide. But they just want to suppress it. They don't want you talking about it because your silence allows them to get away with it. So it's time to speak up loudly as possible, from every pulpit, every platform. We got to move that needle back if we're going to see some real action.
I'm sure you're aware of what the government agencies and their analysts, what they are saying about you. that you don't understand the Nigerian terrain, the landscape, that you are simplifying something that is complicated. How do you respond to them when you hear what they say?
They don't refute anything I say. And I most of this I didn't get from a book. I got from walking the path. I've been there 16 times. I've been to more places in Nigeria than most Nigerians ever will. I have spent time with two former distinguished presidents, Gowan and Jonathan, with in-depth conversations. Spent considerable time on multiple occasions with Cardinal Oniakin, prayed over him in his private chapel. I've spent time with governors, senators, kings, vice chancellors, DIG, former DIG. I've spent time on the phone with Nuhu Rabadu, Senator Akpabio. I've met with former cabinet ministers at the time. So looks like we're frozen up here.
No, we're not.
Yeah. And I've read it voraciously, and I've also spent considerable time, not just in churches around the country, and schools, even a leper colony, but with the displaced and the people who serve them, and the orphanages where children watched their parents hacked to death, and now they're getting loved on. These camps of these survivors, and I've heard their stories, and I've gotten to know them. So I'm not making this stuff up, and all of it rings true. And the more closer I get to the target, the more they attack me. I've been attacked by Sheikh Gumi, by the Sultan, by the president's spokesman, by the lobby firm. If I wasn't getting close to the bullseye, they wouldn't care. So that sort of confirms it too. Again, it is what it is. My book about this went #1 on Amazon in 3 categories in 72 hours. I've got, you can read some of the endorsements of it from some pretty prominent people saying this is what it is. I've got a lot of encouragement. I've had 4 different potential presidential candidates contact me and want my strategic support. So they can try to throw darts at me, but try to refute what I'm saying.
There were some Christian leaders in Nigeria who taken the position of the government that it was an oversimplification to say that it's genocide that is going on. One of them is Bishop Kuka. Do you know him? Have you met him?
No, I don't know him. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a deep love for the country. We didn't even get into that. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Deep love and great hope. I believe this is where the front line is, the battle of kingdoms today, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of darkness. This is where the breakout point for our victory, for the kingdom of God, the kingdom of love. I believe that it can happen there because of the remnant, the strength of the real body of Christ there is incredible. It's amazing. It's brilliant, and it gives me great hope. But anything of value, there's always counterfeits. No, the bad guys don't counterfeit. The 5 Naira bill. Why would they waste their time? They'll do a U.S. $100 bill. So I've learned you don't counterfeit a cheap plastic watch. You counterfeit a Rolex. So when you find the counterfeits, you dig, and then you find something of real value. And you're not going to find more counterfeit Christians than you will in Nigeria. And all the way up to the top. There's no coincidence that when this really kicked off, the number I saw in 2014, Nigeria had 8 of the 10 richest pastors on earth. And their wealth has only trended up with genocide. It's only trended up with displacement. The more widows and orphans are slaughtered for the name of Jesus, the wealthier these guys get. That's directly related. And it's horrific. They're not Christians. They're not pastors. They're dragons hoarding the wealth of God's children, swindling it. That's money that's given to God and they use it for their own gratification. The hoarded tithes and offerings of Nigeria's top 10 richest pastors could fully support every need for more than 3 million displaced Christians for a full year. And said they're buying private jets with it. That's why there's the curse on the land. But if the body of Christ were to stand up, not in arms, not in violence, but just to be who God called them to be, children of the light, love, charity, it would transform the nation overnight, and it would become an oasis on this earth. But the counterfeits are choking it, and it's time that the Christian church needs to clean house if there's any hope.
So, from what you're saying, I take it that you think that this is a fight for the kingdom of God against the Islamic,
the kingdom of darkness,
okay.
and yeah, Islam is a big part of that. Let's be frank. But yeah, so back in 2010, my first time to Nigeria, I couldn't find it on a map, didn't know anything about it, and I got there, and for the first week, I felt sorry for Nigerians because of everything that they lack, that we take for granted, like air conditioning and hot water, and drink water from the tap and smooth rum, all that stuff, the creature comforts. And I felt sorry for them, but it was about a week into it, it flipped 180 degrees. I started feeling sorry for us because of all the things Nigerians take for granted that we lack. Then that's the stuff that matters, honor, integrity, family, hard work, education. And I started to relate deeply with Nigerian people, more so than the average American, because it's the same values that made America great that are there now. I believe Nigeria can be a great nation, and that as testament to that, everywhere they go on earth, they rise to the top. But they can't do it back home because of this stranglehold. So I was there. It was the only nation on earth at the time that radical Islam was being pushed back. And God gave me a word. He said, what man has long called the dark continent, that he is raising to be the continent of light in our generation. And it was evident there to me. I saw the potential, and it didn't seem impossible in the natural realm at that time. But and he said, Nigeria's to be the breakout point. And look what's happened since then. That's when all of the hell broke loose, literally. And this genocide, the current wave of this has really gotten very peaked. But I still go back to the words that gave me, that what man is called the dark continent. He's raising to be the continent of light. Nigeria is the breakout point, and that's why he's called me there. That's why I'm there, is to fight for the kingdom of God. Our battle's not against flesh and blood, and the implications are much bigger than we even realize.
So I'm sure you know the history of Nigeria, how the Islam came from the north and how Christianity came from Europe. Where do you see Nigeria 50 years from now?
So Christianity also, in Africa was very early church.
In the
northeast. Yeah. So I mean, it's not. So Christianity.
I was talking about Nigeria.
Nigeria. I'm saying in Africa, it predates Islam by a long time.
Yes.
So don't let anybody fool you on that. Where do I see Nigeria in 50 years? Here's a tale of two parallel universes, and we're right now at the crossroads. It's going to be one or the other of these. If Nigeria gets a new regime, a new constitution, it gets the opportunity for self-determination, true federation, if it's able to establish a form of government. And it's doable these days with blockchain and AI technologies that really purges corruption and is they're doing it elsewhere, and really gets you what unlocks the giftedness of the people, the coders, the visionaries, the entrepreneurs, the incredible people. And the diaspora will flood home. These amazingly well-trained people that are well-established, that have risen to the top around the world, they'll come back. And I believe that Wakanda won't be a fiction anymore with the ingenuity. I mean, you have some of these cultures were casting advanced bronzes when Europe was in the Dark Ages. That culture is still there. The people are still there and able to do that. So if the stranglehold of foreigners and the corrupt elite is broken, Nigeria, the region we call Nigeria, whatever it's called then, uh, whether it's one federation or multiple, let the people decide. It could be a very bright spot on the face of the earth, innovative, driving the global economy and the youth. It's on track in by 2050, which is not 50 years, it's sooner, to be the third largest nation on earth. And so it could be a shining beacon of transformation for all of Africa and for the world. It could be an amazing success story. That's one potential.
Okay, go ahead. I wanted to ask whether you think that is possible with the current structure of Nigeria.
Absolutely not. But here's the other scenario that we're teetering towards. Trump looks away. Maybe he loses, his party loses the midterms. He loses influence. Worst case scenario, he gets, next presidential election replaced by another Obama acolyte. Those things happen. The backlash, last time CPC designation came off, there was a flare up and it was pretty significant. If Trump, the only guy on earth that can do something about it, and has possibly the guts to do it, if he turns away or he loses power, I believe that, I've heard rumors already. They're saying that anybody that said the word genocide is guilty of sedition. So you're talking mass roundups and executions. You're talking, pogrom that would, I think, make 1967 to 1970 look like child's play. And these 8 black flags, I think 9 black flag groups now, would fulfill their goal, hijacking the nation. It would pivot 100% to China. Banks are already settling in yuan. And it would become the launch pad for global jihad. They've already drawn American blood on American soil. The Old Dominion shooter was ISIS affiliated in Nigeria. So it's either, going to be a very bright spot or it's going to be a very dark spot, and it's going to impact the rest of the world. And I don't believe that there's a middle ground. I don't believe that there's a status quo that can be settled on that we could go back to. So it's a dire situation, and that's the crossroads we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. What is your relationship currently with IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu?
I believe Nnamdi Kanu was unjustly prosecuted and is unjustly imprisoned, and I'm in alignment with pretty much all the human rights groups out there that have said the same thing. And I think that his incarceration is tyranny, and I think it's unjust. And so I advocate for his release because it's unjust silencing of a critic. And the more you study it, the more unjust it is. There's things that Nnamdi Kanu has said in the past that I can't justify. But then again, he never engaged in violence. And by the same token, Nelson Mandela did. Nelson Mandela was a legitimately violent man. It is what it is. That's the nature of being a revolutionary, which is not I don't consider that a bad word. He's certainly a revolutionary individual in every positive sense of the word. I believe he's a visionary. And some call him a true prophet. I think he certainly foresaw a lot of things accurately. So yeah, I think that he should be set free. It's just an illegal incarceration. So I'm going to advocate for that. I have friends in IPOB and many other organizations. I was honored to be invited to speak at a gathering in Los Angeles, IPOB North America. And I consider myself friends with them and deeply sympathetic to their cause. I'm more broader than that. I'm friends with some Yoruba separatists, Middle Belt. I sort of consider myself a Switzerland in that regards. I'm not a member, but I'm happy to work with them and bring them together in unity. And I'm deeply sympathetic. I don't get involved in the internal politics. I'm confused by the various acronym groups in those movements. I stay above that, but yeah, I'm deeply sympathetic to their cause of self determination.
How is that? How does that work with having a country? Because in Nigeria, in the Constitution of Nigeria, there wasn't a provision for referendum to decide whether you want to leave the country. What do you see? How was the approach when you talk to IPOB or the Yoruba group or the Duwa group? What do you say to them in terms of how to achieve that goal, if that is what they're looking for?
Absolutely. And first of all, I call for nonviolence. Certainly, violent self-defense, if it's necessary, that should be the right of every human being. But nonviolence statistically has double the chances of success, a nonviolent uprising. And I call for unity across tribe, across region, across religion, and to stand against the tyranny that's killing everybody, to stand against this evil darkness and pull it down. And in doing so, a new constitution is necessary. The current one is not a legal constitution. It's a fraud. It was written by a military dictator without any input from the public. It was never ratified by the public. But it's recognized by the world. I mean, and they have the guns, but there's no really legal basis for this government to begin with. Certainly not from the consent of the governed. And so a constitutional convention, I would drive it by the indigenous people groups and establish a federation, a covenant republic based on human rights, based on justice, based on integrity, and any region that can't subscribe to that Bill of Rights is not welcome. So that would mean no Sharia state could join unless they reformed. But it's opt-in. So if the Southeast said we don't want a part of it, they can walk away. Fine. But there's a new constitution that is necessary so that the goodness of the people, the potential of the people, the resources of the people can be employed to build a good nation. That'll never ever happen under this constitution and this ruling regime. It's not ever possible.
You mentioned Sharia, and you said that there shouldn't be Sharia sort of, but you know that in Nigerian constitution there is provision for Sharia. So
it's an illegal constitution, and Sharia is incompatible with human civilization as you and I would define it. If that's what they want to do, fine, but you can't not mix oil and water. You can't.
What if they insist that they want Sharia to practice Sharia in their part of the region? Is there a provision? Is there a structure like that can give them the right to have Sharia?
If there is a federation founded on basic human rights, then there's no grounds for Sharia within it, because Sharia is a denial of basic human rights. It's a brutal totalitarian control system to keep people in submission to a very dark ideology. And so no, that's not compatible with any Bill of Rights that you or I would want to live under. And so if a government can't enforce basic human rights, it has no reason or purpose of existence. It has no validity. And you can't tolerate that and enforce human rights at the same time. It's incompatible.
Now, African leaders in the past used to look up to the United States as a model of democracy. These days, some of them are beginning to say that the United States is not showing them a good example. Or they actually point at the United States and say, oh, what is happening here is giving us reason to do what we are doing. That, if it's happening in America, it should be okay to happen in Africa. When you look at what's happening in Africa and look at the United States, where you were once a former government official, how do you do the comparison? How do you see that?
Two things. First, there's a lot about. I'm proud to be an American. I thank God that I'm American. I've been all over the world, and I don't think. I know I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, and I think anybody else that traveled the world and wouldn't want to live anywhere else either. Ultimately, it's not the best. It's not perfect, but it's the best, I believe. And that's why most Nigerians would still kill to get a visa over here, and I don't mean that sarcastically, uh, but there's a lot that I'm ashamed of too. I mean, nothing is perfect, and there's certainly a lot in our past and even in our present that grieves me, and I think that America has declined some. But here's the other side of it. There's a colonial mindset that bedevils Africans in general, and I don't fault them for it. It's all that's been known for hundreds of years. But looking, say, as the white man, the West must give us permission, must give it validation. If we want something good, we have to get it from there. We have to get permission from them. Oh, but if they're doing it there, then we can do it here too. That's a cop out. That's weakness. No, you can be better than that. There's a different expression of humanity that's never been allowed to flourish that you can manifest that would be a great thing for this world. You have values that are better than that. You know better. Don't just say a white man does it, so it's okay. Come on.
Yeah, that reminds me. If in some young Africans, if you talk to some young Africans, they're like people who follow Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, and I'm sure you must have heard about him. Their feeling is that they don't even trust the West entirely. That the West should just leave them alone, and that they want to chart a new path. But that the West is not leaving them alone. It's constantly finding ways to be involved in African affairs. How do you see that?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I've been an advocate of the nations rising. But here's the thing. Your primary economic driver is going to be your minerals at this point, because you don't transform them yourselves. And when you can transform them yourselves, then you'll have other things. You'll be able to, why can't you be a major car manufacturer? That's what the minerals are being used for. You can make lithium batteries, if nothing else. You could, with the tech skills that Nigerians have, you could be doing microchips and all that stuff. Once that's established, then you don't need anybody else. They need you. But right now, your only main driver of the economy is selling those minerals, and there's only a handful of customers that you can really go to. Look at what the Chinese are doing now. They're doing it illegally, and they're funding the jihad, and they're corrupting the officials, and they're getting your nation locked into lopsided contracts and only delivering garbage on the other end. They are there to loot without mercy and with no soul. America does tie strings to things because, on the good side, because we do care, because we do have a soul. It's illegal for an American to bribe a foreign official. Those strings can be perceived different ways, and they can be hijacked by, like under the Biden and Obama administrations. They were used for bad things. But it means that I think fundamentally that we mean well. But the question is, who would you rather sell your minerals to? One that's going to loot from the backside and fund the bloodshed and corruption, or one that might tie some strings to it, but won't allow corruption and won't fund the bloodshed and will fight against the evil? Choose your customer. I don't think China's your best one, just objectively.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about your organization, Africa Rise. We are going to talk about Tinubu in Chicago. I know that you must have heard about that. And then your former friend or current, I don't know if you are still friends with Reno Mockery. So we're going to talk about that, give you a view on those, and then let our people join us and have interaction with you. Okay, let's take a break, about 4 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're having a conversation with Mike Arnold, who was a former mayor of Blanco, Texas, now an advocate for the rights of people against genocide in Nigeria, and a missionary too across Africa. So, Mike, thank you so much for staying. And I'm already getting questions from different people who are interested in joining this conversation. We will get to that, but first, let me get your view on this Tinubu, president of Nigeria. The man has a history that's tied to the United States, and so far we are not getting enough information from agencies of the U.S. government. Why?
So the background: Tinubu lived in South Chicago, 80s and 90s. Supposedly a student, but it's murky. One of his college certificates is for a woman. Another one was issued by a school that didn't exist at the time that the certificate was issued. No wonder he passed a law that you can't use certificate forgery against the candidate. But in 1993, he was swept up in a drug enforcement agency, DEA, prosecution. And the details are a little murky, but he was very clearly involved in a heroin trafficking ring. He forfeited $460,000 cash to the federal court, and he had to flee the country. There are 2,500 pages, or give or take, of documents pertaining to that that have been subject to an open records request. A federal judge ordered their release by June 1st, several weeks ago, haven't been released. Tinubu hired a lobbyist specifically to try to stop that. He also, there are two different agencies, my understanding, and this is reported, the FBI and the CIA both filed briefs to have them not released, and the language that they used is the same kind of language you would use when protecting an active source. So I'm being very precise here because it's all, nothing comes right out and says it. But why would these agencies not want to release this? And three options come to mind. One is he's an active source. He's actively working for the CIA, which under a previous administration would have been not unlikely. Obama was aligned with his political party. So there's that. Second, it could be for some reason incriminating of our government. But I think, and I've had people in Washington that indicate this is clearly what's happening, and I've thought this a while. Trump has those documents wrapped around Tinubu's neck, and that's how he's partnering with the guy. So, I mean, I don't know, but those are the three options that I see for why they're being withheld.
Mm. Yeah, that's so for a government, like leader of a government like the Nigerian government, to be in such quote unquote compromised position. Yeah, because if they have something on him that he's afraid of letting out, what do you think? How much leverage is that for the American government?
Well, one thing that Trump, and it's not the American government, it's Donald Trump.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, but if those documents, if what's in those documents gave him the legal justification to do to Tinubu what he did to Maduro, I think that would be compelling for good old President Tinubu, don't you think? I mean, Trump's proven that he's willing to do that, and there's certainly ample reason to do that. And he's proven, he's got boots on the ground. He's bombed things there. That's a way to get somebody in line. Now, what's he getting him in line for? Is
exactly.
That's where I'm really bothered by those that are surrounding Trump, his senior advisor, for example. It's not a good scene there, and so I don't know. Certainly, if he's declaring victory against the killing of Christians, he's either intentionally blind or he's being fed false information, because it's only gotten worse since he's been involved.
Mm. Okay, let's move on to Reno or mockery.
I'm going to correct you. He was never my friend. He was a friendly acquaintance, and there's a difference.
Okay. But he played it up. He played it up when he was good.
Sure.
When he was good. So the impression people got was that he was your friend. So what actually happened? How did two of you meet, and how did you go your separate ways?
Yeah, so 2019 was my 10th trip to Nigeria, and I had other people with me that brought over from America. A team of us. We were traveling around. We spoke in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Owerri, back in Abuja. And long story short, a detour, unexpected, stumbled into an IDP camp in the middle of Abuja. And to say the least, it opened my eyes and it gripped my heart. And I made a promise to tell their story and to help them get home, basically. And that's what's been driving me ever since, is really just helping these people get home and telling their story. And it just the rabbit hole keeps getting deeper. And what's really would be necessary to get them home is pretty significant, really. So I researched it, and I've been back to Nigeria 6 times since then. Sometimes level 4 do not travel. That's when I've met with most of these people, done so much research, and read a lot of books. And one of the books I read was Omokri's book about Jonathan. I just looked it up on Amazon. I didn't know anything about the guy. But I had some questions about it, and as I'm prone to do, I wanted to talk to the author. So I Googled, found a contact form from a church in California from 2017, but it had a contact form. And so I filled it out and hit submit. 5 minutes later, I get a WhatsApp from Reno Omokri. Again, all I know, author of this book. And he says, can we talk on a video call so I can see that you are who you really say you are? And get on a video call with the guy. He learns I'm a mayor. I'm a white guy. I'm articulate. I have schools in Abuja. So he figures he can use me. And on that call, he invites me to his birthday in Kenya in January, the next month, and he's going to pay my way. And Good Luck Jonathan's going to be there. And he actually wired money for the plane ticket. So I didn't know if there was somebody from the Nigerian government that was wanting to kill me and feed me to the lions. I didn't know. But I prayed about it and got some wise counsel, and I went and met a lot of great people, become good friends with Pan Am Percy Paul, Donald Duke, Ben Murray Bruce was there, and got to know him, several other people of that caliber. Of course, Good Luck Jonathan never showed up. That they were all there just for that. And Bruce and Duke left early when they found out that he wasn't coming. But hey, it is what it is. And they're all friends with me now, I should say. Well, except for Bruce. But they're all friends with me. So went on that birthday, and while there, just for, it's the way you do things, I invited him to come visit me, and sure enough, he did. And realized the basis for our relationship the entire time was for me investigating the genocide, me investigating the root causes of it. That was always the conversation. And at that time, he was out there publicly calling attention to the Nigerian Christian genocide, his own words. And he also was calling, the president a drug lord and all this stuff as well. That was how we connected. And that was the basis. He knew I was working on this research to produce a documentary film to expose this stuff to the world. And he presented himself as wanting to help me with that. So he came to visit. And then and I took him around and, showed him some stuff. Interestingly, one of the things I did was lined up one of my friends here in Blanco who has a classic car collection to drive us around in some of his classic cars. And Omokri took pictures with them. Later, he posted them and said that they belonged to him, which started to sort of expose me to who this guy really is. So I was already scheduled to be back in Nigeria a few months after that, and he set me up, and that's when I met with Minister Tugger, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I met with Minister Idris, the Minister of Information. He actually set it up, and I met with Good Luck Jonathan in his living room there in Sokoro in Abuja. And so he set that all up, but along the way, he would ask, hey, would you comment on this? and it was a policy question or thing, and I would look at it and say, I would think would be a good policy, or I don't like that. Well, my quotes were starting, the ones that were favorable to his causes, starting to show up in Nigerian newspapers. And he was using me as a PR asset. He puffed me up as this great mayor from Texas because he saw me as a PR asset that could be used for a soundbite from time to time. And then in September, we sort of kept up. He told me he was planning to run for president, or for vice president, be Nuhu Rabadu, Reno Mokri president, vice president, 2031. He called me and begged me to nominate Nuhu Rabadu for a Nobel Peace Prize. This was in early summer. I can look it up. It's all in my WhatsApp.
Peace Prize for doing what?
For defeating Boko Haram. And I asked him to prove it, and he stopped. He didn't ask me again. But and so in September, when Bill Maher, he knew what I was trying to raise awareness of this, and that's what all of this was about. But all of a sudden, he did. I on social media, I saw when he went and visited President Tinubu. Rumor was he was offered an ambassadorship. And his tone with me started changing immediately. And I would ask him for help raising awareness of this, and he would say, wait till I come into my kingdom. Wait till I get my reward. So I knew some transaction was made. I didn't see any fruit of that until September, when Bill Maher and Ted Cruz came out. People started talking about, and Trump was looking at a CPC designation. And all of a sudden, the government starts to panic. And that's when Omokri starts coming out and calling it a hoax on social media. And it's like, are you kidding me? And it was a Thursday. It was, I think, the 2nd or 3rd, I could look it up, of October. I sent him a message on WhatsApp. The intention was to be a rebuke to him for this. But in his arrogance, he took it as affirmation. I can't comprehend it. But he calls me and says, please, will you help us? He said, you come to Abuja and you can meet with the president, you can meet with the Sultan, you can meet with all these people, and then we can do a press conference and you can tell the truth about this. It was like, okay. And that was Thursday. On Sunday morning, I get a call. I can look and show you a little screenshot. It's Reno Omokri and Nuhu Rabadu. I had his phone number. I've talked to him before. And they're saying, okay, and this was the 5th. He said, you need to be on a plane next Sunday. So 1 week at the 12th, I got on the airplane. And they still promised, meet with all these VIPs and on all that. And made it sound like there was going to be, in fact, the original plane ticket was for a week. Ends up they didn't have a week plan. They needed it faster than that. It was just 1 day. But that's when I realized what they were trying to do. And they wanted to, Americans know what the term Jane Fonda means. She was an American who went to North Vietnam during the Vietnam War and was used as a propaganda stooge for the communists. And there was that long ago, and she's still a curse word in most American households. They wanted me to be the Jane Fonda of Nigeria, to go and on this, old communist style, stooge tour, and everybody's happy and smiling. And I get in front of a press conference and I say, there's nothing happening. And that's what they wanted. And I wouldn't do that. But I saw the opportunity to use that platform to tell the truth. I got counsel from some very, very high level people, former ambassadors, human rights attorneys, et cetera. And there was a general consensus was that there was a pretty fair chance they would kill me. Probably not. But you never know, kind of thing, and wouldn't be surprised, But I went and I did what I planned to do. And that's a whole story in itself. It could be a spy novel, all the intrigue and the surveillance and counter surveillance and tricks and traps that they tried to set. I was stuck in a room, my knees touching on chairs with Isa Pantami, a known terrorist imam that has publicly celebrated the killing of unbelievers. And he smiled and gave me the talking points and all that. I mean, it was a pretty surreal experience. But
hold on, Mike. Hold on. Who was the president that time? Where did you meet Issa Pantami?
That was October 13th in Abuja. Reno. So here's the on the 12th, I got on the airplane in Austin, Texas, 30 hours of travel, land in Abuja, get picked up at the airport, get fed the talking points by the driver, get to the Abuja Hilton. Not a break, not a bathroom, not a cup of water. I get taken straight into a photo op with one guy who spewed the talking points, and they took pictures. And then he goes out again, no break, no bathroom, no cup of water. 3 northern imams are led into the room. The head of Jainim, there's one other guy, and then Isa Pantami. And
what was their goal? To convince you
the
that
talking points that there's no, and I videoed it, with a hidden camera, but the talking points: farmer herder. There's no religious aspect. It's criminality, and more Muslims being killed than Christians. The same lies that you hear, but it was coming out of Isa and Tommy's mouth, sitting literally right next to me. Yeah, that was October 13th.
So since then, what has happened? Have you heard from Reno or more?
Long story. I won't go into all the details, but I actually had them before the press conference. They arranged for my flight to leave after the press conference, so I had a car running in the park, and they had no idea. I mean, it was God set it up pretty brilliantly. They had no idea, but they were willing accomplices in my escape. So I had a car running with my bags in it right outside the venue. So after the press conference ended, I got up, walked out the door, got in the car, and drove to the airport and flew home. But en route to the airport, I had a relationship with this guy. We were never friends, but it was friendly. He came to my hometown. I went to his birthday. And I thought there was some basis of rapport there. And I don't ever attack anybody without giving them the opportunity to do the right thing first. I give grace, and I felt heartsick for this man. He had just presided over the greatest public relations fiasco probably in African history. When you add it all up, truly the implications of what he caused there, they say that's what got Trump involved. That's what got Trump to bomb, was that press conference. And Randall Mulcree set it up. So I thought he'd be fired, but I reached out to him. I still have the text message. I messaged him on WhatsApp and said, look, you're on the wrong side. You fell in with the wrong crowd here, and it's not going to go well for you. You're on the wrong side of history. You're going to go down as the Joseph Goebbels of the Nigerian genocide. I told him, he before it's too late, he has an opportunity to come clean.
What was his reaction?
And he replied and said, oh, I'm glad you had a chance to tell your story. I get to the airport and I check, and 4 newspapers had already published stories that the mayor of Texas debunks the genocide hoax. He had already written the stories. They were already planted, and they were published by the time I got to the airport, that I had gone along with it, that I was their stooge. My barrister had them all pulled down and apologies issued within a week, but that was Omokri's response to me when I called him to repentance. And so, at the airport, I dropped the first truth bomb. I posted those pictures of him with that car where he said what he paid for them. I reposted. I said, here's the reality. These belong to my friend in Blanco. This man is a fraud. He doesn't have all this stuff. He's a con man. And that right there got more than 2 million hits. I had 114 followers, and it got more than 2 million hits. And that one echoed for a long time. It's totally gutted his standing with the public. I don't think he can ever recover from it.
All right. We are running out of time to let our people in. Let me show you a few pictures. Maybe you can help us explain what they are. This is you and your wife.
Yeah. That's my beautiful wife.
Yeah. For 32 years.
Yes.
Okay. So you have a farm in Texas. What is this picture?
That is my first trip to Nigeria. That's in Owerri, a little hotel that's just south of the campus there. And I've stayed there many times since. That was my first trip. And my host had 2 mission teams with him. There was me And then a separate team, we were staying together, was that women's group from San Antonio, Texas, my same hometown. And they had just made us these Nigerian outfits. And so first time I ever put on a Nigerian outfit. And we stood there for some pictures.
All right. And now this is you and Alex.
Yeah, that's just a couple days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in Washington. We were both invited to speak at the same briefing. I had never met him in person before that. We had chatted before, WhatsApp and talked on the phone a couple times. We were on a podcast together a week or so ago, but I'd never met him in person before.
Okay. Do you have any plans of going back to Nigeria?
When I can.
You think you cannot now? You cannot go to Nigeria?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I don't know that I'd set foot in Kenya either. I mean, I'm being targeted. Me and Alex, the two of us, are the only two Americans I know of that have been attacked by Gumi, the Sultan, the president, and the DCI group. I'm a known entity. After that press conference in Abuja on October 14th, that same day, the Senate convened an emergency meeting. Everybody knows who I am, and they want to take me out. I've got a very credible death threat just last week that I reported to the FBI. I carry a gun. I'm carrying a gun right now.
The American intelligence agencies, are they recommending you shouldn't go to Africa, or are they telling you that?
I haven't even inquired. I mean, last time they said it was level 4, I went anyway. But no, it's my Nigerian contacts at a pretty high level that say it's probably best to try to get in right now.
All right. These are some of the books that you have written. Let me see if I can put it up. Okay. No, it's refusing to come on. But you've written several books. I will get them on the screen as soon as I can. But at this point, I will want to let our people join us. Sometimes they have better questions than I do. But the most important thing is interaction with the guests, and they are the reason why we do this. So I will let them in, and I'll give them a chance to ask you a question or make a comment on what you've said. And we will take a break and come back again and finish up. So let me bring in the first few people who are here. And when you come in, when I call on you, please make it quick so that we can get to more people who are the other people who are behind the scene. All right. So the first person. Can you mute yourself if you are not speaking, please, so that we can... Let me come to you, Mr. James. Mr. James is joining us from the Gambia. Mr. James, welcome to the show. We're here with Mike Arnold.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I don't have any questions for now. When I see the books he has published, maybe I come up with a question.
All right. I'll get to that. I will show the books as soon as I can. Let's go to AY. AY, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Arnold. You're welcome to the show. You said a lot of good stuff, but I have a couple of comments and questions. So I'm always being careful about the danger of a single story. So you said you've traveled to Nigeria 16 times. So when you look at the composition of the northern Nigeria, when you go to states like Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, Kaduna, Kebbi, these are states that are mostly dominated by Muslims, up to 80-90%. The Christian state, I would say the bandit that terrorists are really disturbing. They are the Benue, Plateau, and Taraba. Are you neglecting the killing of Muslims in about 10 states, 7 to 10 states I just measured? That's one. The other question I will really have is, according to Scott Perry, the Congress member of the United States, in February 2025, he alleged that the fund from USAID were used to sponsor Boko Haram another terrorist organization in Nigeria. If I follow up a question with that, the crisis in the Sahel in general, when we refer to the Sahel, most of these countries, some of them are like 90-something% Muslims. They don't have Christian population. The same crisis you see in northern Nigeria is the same problem these countries are having, like Mali and some other Sahel country. During the Libya invasion of the West and NATO, they destroyed the country. A lot of analysts have claimed that the crisis you see in the Sahel is as a result of this destruction of humanity in Libya. What is your view about this issue I just mentioned? Thank you.
Sure. You brought up a couple of different things. I'll try to address all. First of all, so let me say this: the difference between the Obama and Biden administration on one side and the Trump administration on the other is a wider gulf than the difference between the Jonathan administration and the Buhari administration. I mean, you can't just say America did this, America did that. I mean, on the surface, you can. I think what Obama and Biden did to Nigeria is beyond reprehensible. Obama was fully complicit in the unleashing of the terror that's ravaging the country. And he did it on purpose to get Buhari elected. Now, what were his reasons beyond that? I don't know, but it's self-evident. That didn't and wouldn't happen under Trump. It shouldn't have happened then. And in fact, if the American people in the American Congress knew about it, they would probably be in jail. So it's not something that America did. It's something Obama did when he was nefariously when he was president. But the specific USAID thing, look, there was a lot of horrible stuff going through USAID, but that specific statement has been recanted and disproven. There's no evidence that it did, that any USAID funds went to Boko Haram or any terrorist group. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but that's not a true statement, though. The congressman has recanted it, I've been told, and by his attorney. So that's one thing. Now you mentioned Christian areas and Muslim areas. Gwoza, for example, was a Christian area for more than a century until 2014, 2015, and now it's a caliphate. So just saying that it's now a Muslim-controlled territory doesn't mean that it was or should be. Your first question, I'm gonna go to that now to wrap this up. From the very beginning, I've said this is not just. I don't just throw out the term Christian genocide and walk away from it. That's not an accurate. It's a part of what's happening, but it's not a very good summary. And I think it's in some ways, if people just push that, then it's counterproductive. This is a jihad that's been raging for quite a while. This is a conquest, yes, they specifically target Christians, but they also target Muslims who won't join their jihad. And in some places, those outnumber them. And that goes back to Don Fodio, the founder of the Sokoto Caliphate. His specific teaching and his doctrine was that any Muslim that doesn't submit to us and join our jihad should be killed. And that's still taught today. That's Dan Fodio. His grave is a mini Mecca. They make pilgrimages to this guy. And he taught that, and they've practiced that. That's how they bumped off the House of Kings and took over, because of this doctrine. That's the real enemy. And I have advocated. So one story I've told, and it's documented, there was a bus that one of these jihad groups pulled over. They took everybody off, men, women, Christian, Muslim. They separated them out. The women all went into sex slavery. The Christian men were all killed. And then they went to the Muslim men and said, join us or die. And, a lot of them chose to die. And I will never say that person is my enemy. That person should be my ally. We should stand together. Those people that have the courage and the conviction and the humanity to make that choice, to sacrifice their life before joining a jihad, there should be a monument built to those people. They're Muslims. I mean, there should be a monument to them. I have a school in Abuja. We have 4 campuses now. Our second campus was built in a camp that is comprised almost entirely of Muslims. We have about 300 Muslim students, young children that we give a free, high-quality education to. We feed them when we can. We take care of them, and we've been doing that for many years. To call this Christian versus Muslim is wrong. It's not. This is people of humanity versus a malignant caliphate ideology that's killing everybody. So yeah, I believe in reaching out across tribes, regions, and religions to find people of conscience to stand together against this evil. It's not Christian versus Muslim.
Please, can you address the Libya and the Sahel question?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The problem in the Libya across the Sahel.
Yeah. There's no doubt. There's certainly documentation that a whole lot of jihadis flooded south out of the Libya and North Africa. In fact, the eyewitnesses that I know from the Gwoza massacre back in 2014 say the first wave of attackers were lighter skinned and looked like they were from North Africa. So yeah, there's a big problem with that, and largely it's Fulani coming in to come together. Which is a big driver of this. But yeah, that happened. I don't know what else you want me to say about it.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, AY. Let's go to Jefferson. Jefferson, you are next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mike, I want to thank you for all your efforts. So I've been following from the beginning. If not for the likes of you who have been kept in the dark, and the truth must be said, because I must say that Africa has been kept in the dark by some scrupulous elements by our people in terms of suppressing one group and the other. So I'm glad you're speaking about it. So, and keep up the good fight. So my question goes like this. Before America attacked some of the terrorists during the Christmas holiday last year, of course, we saw the vibrancy of Riley Moore and other prominent people in the Congress. Well, let me just be specific on Riley Moore. And he was very vocal about what is going on. And of course, the Nigerian government was against him at the period. So of recent, I also saw a video where you also were questioning his sudden U-turn. And of course, and it has to also do with the enablement of the $9 million that our disgraced first lady actually helped to give the media team in the US. So my question goes like this. What is the take on all those things in terms of making sure that justice is being served? Because as you speak, Christians are still being killed and they're still kidnapping people in Nigeria right now. And it's turned to a political gimmick, and people are just doing whatever they like. So we don't even trust. It's so bad that even the Nigerians don't trust their own security outlook. That's how bad it is. And then my second question is this.
No. Jefferson, make it one so that we get.
Sorry, let me finish. So my question is this. So what is delaying the release of Tinubu's drug case by the FBI? Why are they delaying it? It could have been good we see it because it's a public citizen right now. So we need to know what's going on. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I addressed the Tinubu files a little bit earlier. There's 3 possible scenarios that spring to my mind. It could be something else, but one, he's an active asset of the CIA. And it wouldn't have surprised me under the Biden or Obama administrations. Second possibility is those documents are very incriminating of forces within the U.S. government. That's a possibility too. But I suspect, and this seems to be the general feel in Washington, that Trump is using them as leverage against Tinubu to keep him in order and extract whatever he wants to out of the guy. I don't know what it is he's extracting out of the guy, but that's Trump likes to have the upper hand, and that certainly it would seem would give him the upper hand. Also gives him the opportunity if a worthwhile opponent comes along, he can release it at the right time. So that makes sense to me. I think Trump plays the game that way. But it's one of those 3, I think. Now, in the broader picture, I've learned a lot doing this. I'm just a country boy from Blanco, Texas, but this is a narrative war, and I've never really realized what that truly meant. But there are lives that will be gained or lost as the outcome of this. So it's no less of a hot war than if we were throwing hand grenades at each other. The same consequences in this narrative war. The Nigerian government is dumping millions and millions and millions of dollars just on the surface, that least that we know of, to lobby firms is $10 million. I have heard from a couple different sources the number is likely closer to $180 million that he's put to influence the narrative here. And right now, those that are speaking the truth are a small handful. Even the ones that have stood up to say, "Hey, we're going to lead this," they've been co-opted, and they don't speak up anymore. So there's not a whole lot left. But what there's a broad base of people like you. And what needs to happen right now is everybody must speak up. Everybody must scream. Everybody must post. Everybody must send letters. Everybody must stand on the street corners with signs, because that's the only way that is going to move back in the direction of real intervention. If we remain quiet, Trump's going to look the other way, and Nigeria will fall.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Let's go to Tony. Tony, your question or comment in 2 minutes.
Greetings, Dr. Damages. Greetings, Mayor Mike Arnold. Greetings, everyone on the panel and those on the comment section. Mayor, let me thank you for your advocacy for good governance in Nigeria. I don't know where you find the strength, but I just want to ask God to bless you. Not just for your advocacy, but also for the personal resources that you are putting in building schools, giving scholarships to Nigerian children. And my question to you is, what is it that propels you to do all that you're doing? You're so engaged with issues concerning Nigeria. So I want to find out what's in it for you. Why do you do the things that you do for Nigeria?
That's a good question. My wife and kids might just tell you I've suddenly developed mental illness. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's cost me so much. I'm not a wealthy man. But I recounted the story earlier of my first trip there in 2010, where over time I learned to that the values that I saw there in the people are the same values that made America great that we don't have anymore. I saw potential, and I saw hope, and I connected, because those are the things that value to me, that are valuable to me: my faith and family and honor and integrity and hard work and professionalism and education. That's what makes Nigerians, wherever they go on earth, they rise to the very top. And I just deeply admire that, and I relate to that, and I feel oftentimes with the people more at home there than I do here. And so there's that. But also look, I don't come from a charismatic background. That's sort of steeped into me over time as I've experienced the reality of God. So I don't use these terms loosely, but I received a word from God, a prophetic word, that it's echoed ever since, that what man has long called the dark continent, that God is raising to be the continent of light in our generation, and Nigeria is the breakout point. I feel that this generation around the world, we're at the banks of the Jordan River, and there's a promised land ahead of us. And just like the ancient Israelites, we can get scared, turn around and walk back, and we'll all die. But God will someday get some generation across that river. And I think that right now, Nigerians can walk across that river and bring God's kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Maybe it sounds crazy, but that's what I'm called to. God has assigned me to this. And if for me to walk away, I would be, whatever the cost, I would be guilty, because this is my calling. And until it's fulfilled, until he tells me otherwise, it's what I have to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. We're going to go to Ife and TF. But before then, let me just show for our audience some of your books that you published. This is Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam, and the War for Global Order. So you position Nigeria as the epicenter of what war?
Well, in fact, this is the book that hit #1 in 3 categories in 72 hours. The War for Global Order. So when you look at Nigeria, people have asked me, is that the head of the snake? And I said, no, it's the head of Medusa. All the snakes come out of there. You have the communist Chinese that are deeply embedded there. You have the global Islamists that are deeply embedded there. You have the globalists, Obama, Biden, that ilk is deeply embedded there. And you have the British, all overextended and all fighting for control, and all of them trying to push Nigeria a very dark direction. And if Nigeria goes that direction, it'll be dark for the whole world. It just happens when you stand in Nigeria, you can see all of it. And so, yeah, there's a war for global order. The war, the battle is raging for control of Nigeria and Nigeria's unstoppable trajectory is a battle for global order. Whoever controls Nigeria, the ideology, the direction, the activities of Nigeria is going to have a big say in the future of the world. And in fact, it was our own government that declared it the epicenter of global terror, the Sahel anchored by northern Nigeria. So I sort of lifted that word from that, but I took it deeper.
So what's your prescription? Your prescription as the solution to the problem for Nigerians?
There's the solution, and there's different ways to get there. But Nigeria should have a constitutional convention, a new constitution, with a covenant republic that is based on human rights and self-determination, where it's opt-in, where different regions can choose not to join. They don't have to. So there's your referendum, but it gives self-determination to each region. But it also gives incentive to stand together for goodness, human rights, free trade, mutual protection. But they have to subscribe to the Bill of Rights if they're going to join, and no Sharia state could join without reform. I think that's achievable, and it would be I don't see another way to really solve the country's issues. This current constitution won't do it. This current regime can't. Now, how to get there from here, we could talk about that for another whole episode.
All right. Maybe we should do that one day. But let's get on with the question and comment section. Let's see, Ify, what do you have? Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Arnold.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. What I'm going to say might be a little bit different. First of all, thank you for coming. Let me clarify some things I heard you say. What is happening in Nigeria is not a Christian genocide. I am a Christian, but I want to make it clear that more Muslims have died more than Christians, unfortunately. So if I don't like when people push narrative that only Christians are dying. Christians are not the only ones dying. It's both Christians and Muslims that are dying. Let's get that. Number two, I'm trying to understand. First of all, Nigerians, we cannot liberate ourselves by sending a white person. Let me use that word. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. Because when you are a mayor of somewhere in Texas, that's just like sending a local government chairman to come to talk to President Trump in Nigeria. So I don't understand the idea you pushing to come to Nigeria to liberate us. I don't understand where that is coming from, because, I mean, to me, it doesn't make no sense. The only reason why these people are pushing you to come to Nigeria is because of the benefits they're going to get. Somebody like Reno or Mokuru and the rest of his, people, because they want to use you to say, oh, United States is supporting what is happening in, you people are trying to liberate us. But I didn't see no liberation of any white person coming to Nigeria to help us. That's not going to happen. I don't see that. But my question remains, in terms of Nnamdi Kanu's case. I'm glad you acknowledge that Nnamdi Kanu is being punished, because in a country where everything is working, first of all, you won't hear somebody like Nnamdi Kanu. You won't hear somebody like Michael Wazuroke. You won't hear something like Simon Ekpa. Nigeria is a country of 200 and something million people. Do you think, you being an outsider, do you think we even have any business whatsoever being together? Because what we have in Nigeria is currently not working for us. The constitution is not working for us. We have a lot of marginalization going on in Nigeria. In 2026, we are still talking about we don't have constant power, we don't have good roads, we don't have healthcare. Nigeria, we got our independence in 1960. Singapore got their independence in 1965. 5 years apart. Singaporean passport is the number one passport in the whole world, and Nigeria is still nowhere to be found. Corruption is number one thing that is killing Nigeria. And I'm asking, my question is, what is the essence of bringing you to Nigeria? Is it to come and defend us or liberate us? I don't get it. Please, can you explain to me? Thank you.
Sure. First, first point you made, I'm going to correct you. I tend to be inclined towards the research of inner society. I know the founder of that. It's credible, and that's the numbers that President Trump has quoted. It also reflects my view from being on the ground. Yes, a lot of Muslims are being killed, but the total number, if you go by inner society, since 2009 is about 125,000 Christians and about 60,000 Muslims. So about 2-to-1 Christian to Muslim. And that is reflected in my experience in the IDP camps, where the majority are Christian, up to 80%. So I'm not diminishing, and it shouldn't be a competition who's being killed more than the other. But the numbers show it's about 2-to-1 Christian to Muslim. Certainly, there's examples of communities, maybe even whole regions where the numbers are different. But so I wanted to correct that. It is a Christian genocide. But just like the German Holocaust was a Jewish genocide, there were others. It was a Gypsy genocide. It was, they killed homosexuals too. It's a Christian genocide. It's also a genocide of non-jihad Muslims. They're trying to wipe them out. So wanted to correct that. I also want to push back, and I resent the racism that you have that's inherent to your question. It's like me asking, why should a black person be able to ask me a question like that? That's absurd. Just because I'm white, come on. And if you're a Christian, the Bible says in Christ there is no Jew or Greek or slave or free, and there's no white or black. I'm either a brother in Christ or I'm not. Yes, I'm American. Yes, I come from the West. Nobody has ever pushed me to come, or I've been invited to come for evangelism. My work there has been as a missionary for 16 years now. I have done outreaches in churches and schools and villages and prisons, orphanages, even a leper colony. I've done evangelical work, and I've done public service work. We've done clinics, we've done feeding. And in 2019, I started schools, and it's been out of my own pocket and out of my own ability to raise the little money that I came from friends and family and a few local churches to support. We now feed, educate 650 plus children free of charge in multiple IDP camps in Abuja, because it's the right thing to do. And to question my motivation or think somebody is pushing me or funding me to try to do anything politically, I reject that. It's simply not true. I am simply trying to help my displaced friends get home. Okay. And the reality is this regime, this constitutional structure, this whole thing won't allow it. There's no way for them to get home in peace until this whole contraption is dismantled. I agree with you. You heard I said earlier, first of all, that the constitutional regime in Nigeria was never legally ratified. It's illegitimate. It's accepted by the world, but that doesn't mean it's legitimate. And I have very clearly called on multiple occasions, even on this conversation, for self-determination. Do you know what that means? That means the ability to go your separate ways. If the Southeast wants to be independent, they should have that right to do that. And I believe that nobody should be shackled against their will to a bloodthirsty caliphate just because the British said so. And so I don't know where we would differ in that. I use different words than you do, but we're saying the same thing.
All right, thank you, Ife. Mike, before I go to TF, who will be next, there's a question I got on my text, and it says, what is Mike Arnold's business interest in Nigeria? His noted business interest in AAI Resources Limited, a Nigerian company linked to Africa Arise initiatives focused on mineral development and mining. Can you disclose what is business? Do you have business in Nigeria other than Arise organization that is helping build schools and?
Yeah. There, it's on paper, and it's an entity that has never done anything. It was established, I think, year and a half, 2 years ago. And I won't name the person, but an official in another state wanted to support our ministry by donating some hectares of land for mineral development. And so to enable that, we set up the entity. So the dominant shareholder is the nonprofit organization I'm on as a advisor, as a board member. But that never happened. So it's just a paper entity that was formed to facilitate the donation of some mineral rights, but it was never developed, and that ended up drying up. But again, there was never a goal of setting up a mining company, but just to get those rights and then pass it on in a way that our schools would be funded. That's what the intention of that was. But nothing ever came of it.
Okay.
And that was long before this whole Earthshaker thing and all that.
All right.
That was just somebody that we met that said, "Look, silver and gold have I none, but I have some land, and I want to help your schools. Let's help your schools with this."
All right. Thank you so much. TF, you're next. We can hear you, TF. You're muted. All right, we skip you and we go to you can fix your connection and come back. Forefathers, you're next.
Greetings, Dr. Damages, and thank you for having me. Greetings all the panelists, the chat, and to the viewers, and special greetings to Mike Arnold. Thank you for joining us. I am a little bit puzzled because of your reaction towards the previous speaker, because you may not necessarily have any ulterior motive, but history has suggested that people of your persuasion have continued to be problematic within our
What do you mean
space.
by persuasion? Tell me what, but I'm not going to let you continue with that. What do you mean by
European?
I'm not European.
And
I'm Texan. I'm from Texas. I've visited Europe a long time ago. I'm not European. I'm Texan, 6th generation. Try again.
European origin. You are European origin. And you can't escape what you are.
Actually, Ancestry.com says I have some African DNA in me as well. God.
I think, this is a distraction. Let's just carry on. There's no need to be defensive. There's no need. I'm not racist, actually. I'm not. I'm just trying to establish some ground in this thing. Because the reality is that we are ultimately responsible for our fates. I'm not trying to put all the blame on you. But the reality also is that we also have a problem of the kind of relationship we've established with the West. Like the Western system that you come from, you are talking about the Islamic oppression of the Christians. In reality, your nations have great relationship with the Arab countries. As a matter of fact, former Al-Qaeda was in the White House how many months ago? And we've had reports in the US where the Congress or a senator was talking about how American funds went into the forming of Boko Haram. You yourself attested to the fact that the US president, former US president, did this. And you're saying because it's not this president or not president, this is what they call plausible deniability, and which you are not even doing good work of doing that, because you are actually acknowledging that a US body actually influenced the formation of Boko Haram in Nigeria. So some of all these problems we are having.
I said the unleashing. There's a difference. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to cover for anybody. I'm not pushing any national agenda. Your government starved to death 3 million people in 30 months between 1967 and 1970. Is that on you? Does that diminish your credibility? Should I question your judgment? Are you trying to starve my children because your government did that?
You can question my judgment if my government does something bad.
I have said very negative things about my government that are true. I've said good things about my government that are true. And I'm going to speak the truth. I don't represent the United States or Europe. I represent the kingdom of God. And that's what I'm advancing. And that's who's invited me. And that's who's called me. And that's who's provided for me to be there. and that's who's given me this platform. That's who I represent. I don't represent the U.S. government.
And I don't have any issue with you necessarily, even if I don't believe in your religious persuasion. I don't have any issue with you personally having a faith and using your faith to help your own fellow Christians. You probably do have those.
I run schools for Muslim children too, so don't just say it's for my fellow Christian. It's for human beings.
Okay, for human beings. So my issue is that because you advocate certain things within the Nigerian space, you are not necessarily well equipped and have enough scope without even some biases, like some of these biases you expressed against the Chinese, when in reality, if we are to compare the Chinese and the Western this in the hemisphere you come from, you guys are like the lions that have been devouring us, while the Chinese are the hyenas just watching from the sidelines. And you don't take responsibility for all that, and you come and
what do you mean? Do you read my social media? I released a U.S. document that was classified for 15 years, written by Henry Kissinger when he was I think he was National Security Advisor, might have been Secretary of State at the time under Nixon, about how we can rape Africa and deal with this byproduct of humanity that's in the way. Horrible, satanic, and I called it out and I published it. I have been very vocal about that. I have been very vocal and working hard so that the people of Africa and the people of the nation known as Nigeria can rise and not need the West. Break the stranglehold, industrialize, use your own resources, be smart about it. Stop looking to the West and to the East for permission. Do it yourselves. Express humanity the way you're uniquely equipped by God to do so. You haven't been listening. You haven't been reading. You're just throwing out accusations at me because I'm a white man and I'm sick of it. Let's move on to another questioner.
No,
all right.
Sorry,
I'm not talking to this guy.
We have to move on. This is what I would say. If you come to ask questions, find your question. I won't give you room to do back and forth because.
Okay, can I ask a point blank question?
No. You have to hold on now, forefathers. Let's get to other people. Let me try TF again. If your connection is good now, let's hear you. Go ahead. All right.
TF, you there?
TF is still not good. You can log out and log back in, and then we will bring you up. Let me go to KJ. KJ,
the Lord has selected me.
KJ, is the problem won't pick me? I can't hear KJ.
No, I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate your work, and I have followed your work for a long time. In fact, I've been trying to get in touch with you to come to this program, but somehow my mails didn't get responded to. But I'm glad to see you today. And I would say, for those who did not know, I've done a lot of stories in Nigeria, especially among Christians, for over 17 years. So I have good history of how genocide started in Nigeria. I started a long time ago, even before the government got to know about it and begin to publish it. We had done stories on that. So I'm saying, some of the things people have said is clearly, I would say, out of ignorance, because if you live very long in the north, you find out that it's not only Muslims that bear Muslim names. Some Christians, especially around the Bauchi and Taraba, they also bear Kaduna. They bear Muslim names. And sometimes when those things happen, those names are counted as Muslims, even though they are not Muslims. Having said that, I agree with your work and I appreciate your work. And I also know that you don't have to be an African to do the work the Lord has called you. It's done all over. Today, I'm just going to compliment what you're doing. And I keep saying that, just like I say many times, you are doing a good job. There's nothing more important in life than to save a life, even if it's just one person. So whatever you are doing, if you're just going to save only one person, we are satisfied with that, and we appreciate that. Now, I want to also commend you. I'm just going to say one of the things I know about you. The courage to have sat in that television studio with that Omokri and be able to put forward what you thought or what you perceive to be the truth. It's not everybody can do that. I mean, when I was watching you, I said, does this guy know that he cannot leave this studio if he finish this state, But you went ahead to do that, and you did it, again and again until you left Nigeria. That simply means to me, you have nothing to hide. You came and told the truth as you saw it, and you said that, and I commend you. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. So let me go to Ernest. Ernest, you are next. Tia, please, can you log out and log back in so that we'll be sure we can hear you? I'll pull you in when you come back. Go ahead, Ernest.
Good afternoon, everybody. And Mr. Arnold, I will apologize on behalf of some of my colleagues who spoke earlier for, I would say, that insulting you. And for me as a Nigerian, I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Europe, I've lived in America. But I think Africa needs to be recolonized, especially Nigeria. That's the truth. So I'm saying sometimes I follow you on Facebook and Twitter. Sometimes I feel like you are trying to save people who don't want to save themselves. And what I want to say is that I want you to encourage Nigeria. If to say that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria is understatement. It's beyond Christian genocide. So it includes both ethnic cleansing. It doesn't matter who is the president. Even when Obasanjo, a Christian, was president, there was killing in Benue and in Plateau. Even when Jonathan, as a Christian, is president, there are still Christian. So what is happening is more than is like ethnic cleansing. And even the people who are being killed are not even fighting for it. They are not fighting for themselves. So you now putting yourself in between to fight for them. I see it as, if you have family, go back to your family, enjoy yourself. They don't want to be saved. That's the truth. Nigeria, Africa especially, they need to be. So you see all these people telling you white man cannot save black man. Okay, black man, save yourself. We have been in this thing since 1940. What? We haven't saved yourself since that time. Many of the infrastructure in Nigeria today are built by the whites. Not in Nigeria. They cannot even build infrastructure. Even the fact that Nigeria cannot build. Nothing. Somebody is coming here to tell you are white man. Okay, you black person, save yourself. You have not saved yourself since 1914 till now. You are telling somebody a white savior. Right. Sometimes I follow you on Twitter and Facebook, but sometimes I see like you are disturbing, you are wasting your time. Just go around, leave those people. They don't want to. They don't want to be saved. They will kill all of them. Nothing will happen.
All right, Ernest, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Satan in the wilderness whispered things like that to Jesus too. Not that I'm comparing myself to him, but the fact is there are people there that don't want this garbage happening, and it only takes like 3.5% of the population historically to really bring radical transformation. The problem isn't people wanting to die or just being resigned. The problem is the fragmentation. The problem is this disunity, which is interesting when the same Facebook and Twitter feeds, when you look at the people who are the most divisive, you click on their accounts, 99% of the time they're fake accounts. Somebody is paying to sow seeds of division in Nigeria. Who would be paying for that and why? The fact is there are plenty of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, probably even Fulani, that are fed up with this regime. And there's certainly enough of them to change things if they stood together. I have said many times, first of all, my desire is like Gideon in the Bible. I want to go back to being a farmer. I had 114 Twitter followers before this flared up in October. And I've had a much more peaceful life. I'm not doing this for any personal reason. But I'm not able or equipped, or should I try to lead anything? I'm not trying to lead anything, but I can serve. I can serve the leaders. I can serve the people. And that's what I'm aiming to do with inspiration, with hope, with truth, and with providing maybe a forum of unity where people can come together and realize they're not so different, and that we do share a common enemy, that it's not Christian versus Muslim. It's not Yoruba versus Hausa versus Igbo. This is the kingdom of God versus the kingdom of darkness. This is people of conscience versus people who would kill us for what we believe. And so no, I don't. If anything, this has saved me. I don't see myself as a savior. This has given me purpose and a hope. But it's my calling. I'm not going to stop doing it. It's not about me. I have nothing to gain. I've never brought anything of value home from Nigeria other than friendships. And I don't know. I don't plan to. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Bonaventure or Oti, you're next.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Yes, Mike. I've listened to you. I don't have a question really. My purpose of just coming on the platform is essentially I would say thank you, salute your courage, and I've listened to you. I think you speak the truth. You've answered the questions, and also, to salute your courage because you have the backbone to kind of push back against some of the questions that I really don't. The quibble about Christian genocide or Muslim genocide. I don't see how that helps anybody, and also somebody questioning your motive just because of the fact that you are someone of an European heritage. Again, it misses the point. What you're doing is as a true Christian witness. Okay, you believe in something and you are making a sacrifice for it. That is the example worthy of emulation. That's what we Christians should be doing. Now, so anybody kind of accusing you of being an agent of Western imperialism, well, they have the obligation to bring the evidence. It's no use this kind of wide accusations and speculations. Just people trying to prove clever. I detest it. As I said, I just really to say thank you for the work you're doing, sacrifice, and at least you understand the situation of Nigeria. You've talked about self-determination, the constitution. So these are the real issues we have, and we have to address as a people. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
All right, Oti, thank you so much. Let's go back to the flagship. Let's see if that works now.
Hey, Rudolph, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, you changed your name and it became.
I know I had to change computers. My apologies for that. Good afternoon, everyone. And Mr. Arnold, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. Listen, I want to first join others to say thank you for talking about this. Your involvement in this and everyone else from the West that have been involved in this conversation has brought all of us to the table to be able to ask the needed questions about what is going on in our country and how to find a way to get out of this mess. For over 15 years, nobody has spoken. And now that it takes an outsider to come in to let us see firsthand what's going on inside, we can't but appreciate it. So again, an added voice to saying thank you for what you're doing. My question is, I'm going to circle back to a question that Rudolph asked you in the beginning. And I think Jefferson asked the same question. And that was my initial question when I joined. So it tells you how pertinent it is that this be answered. And it's in reference to the Tinubu files. I know you mentioned three aspects that you presume may be the reason why this file is being withheld. Possible CIA asset or working with the CIA, Mr. Tinubu himself, perhaps the way it is worded for someone who's been protected. And then number three, that it possibly could have something that might indict the US government. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I want to know is this: for him to pay or dish out such a huge amount of money to have this file withheld with the fear that it's going to impact him in whatever way he thinks. I personally am looking in the direction of his identity. I do not know if this has anything to do with who the man is, if that is what he's paying that money for, to cover up and let nobody know about it, since nobody in Nigeria can tell who he is, where he came from, anybody that's related with him. And of course, every record that we have about him seems to be false. So could his identity be what is being hidden? Because if it's drugs, it's open information. Everybody knows about it. If it's his involvement here in the US while he was here, we all know all about that now. So what is that secret thing that is so detrimental to his person that he's paying such a huge amount for to hide? Thank you.
Yeah, that's what would be that damaging. I mean, just brainstorming here, but yeah, identity perhaps. It could be just the fact that he was or is at some point in time a CIA asset. Imagine if that information got out. That wouldn't be, there's not a whole lot in Nigerian politics that is so shocking. I mean, there's a whole lot of, it could be that he killed 50 people and nobody would, that wouldn't affect the election. What would potentially affect the election? Because everybody knows he's degenerate. So it got to be really bad. So yeah, it could have been something that his identity, that he worked with the CIA, or it could be, I don't know, I'm not an attorney, I don't know what's in there, but some legal basis that would allow him to be arrested today, like Trump arrested Maduro. There has to be some legal, I don't know, but it's hard to think of anything else really that would be so damning that they would be able to use it as leverage. I don't know. He certainly doesn't want him released. There's no doubt about that. Good question. We're all on the edge of our seats. We should all be talking. Stop the Epstein files and start talking about the Tinubu files for a while. That's what I really want to know.
Well,
all right.
Thank
you, the flagship. Let's go to Anne Lechuku. You are next. All right, Anne Lechuku, can you?
Muted. Yeah, he's muted.
You're muted. All right, let's skip him and go to the next person. We'll come back when you're ready. Let's go to Femi. Femi, you are next. All right, I don't know if all these Femi and Anne Lechuku, they are somewhere in Panama, but let's go to Hello. Hello, you are next. If you can unmute.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Damages. Hello, Mr. Mike. It's nice to have you in our midst. I am a Christian myself, and I just tuned in. Maybe I caught you at the moment when you sounded a bit pissed off. And yeah, hence I'm here. We are all one as Christians, yeah. But I have been asking myself for years the price we all are paying for religion, be it Christianity or Islam. And I've come to realize that politicians, be it in Nigeria, Africa, or otherwise, can easily weaponize religion and use it to control people depending who is sitting at the top of the hemisphere. Yeah. So by history, I am aware that Christianity and Islam are both foreign before before the colonization. Yeah. So I'm thinking, if Africa, Nigeria has to discover itself, and the people from Nigeria, some of them, maybe not all, their voices may not sound palatable, and they are saying to you, we want to rediscover ourselves without interference, without control. And hence, I'm saying, from the Kissinger report, do you think the prophecy is fulfilling itself both in agriculture, of the GMOs, financial IMF loans, that Africa will never rise, whichever way? It's hard to trust anyone. Now, I'm not saying I don't know you, not to trust you or to trust you. But, the Bible says we should love one another, but love as well can be detrimental when there are no boundaries. I, as a young person, I am pained where I am right now that for certain mistakes of my forefathers or the people that took over independence, for some reason, interferences, my country is in chaos right now. Most citizens in Nigeria may not be aware of what is happening, but some are aware. Don't you think it is time for everyone, regardless what they believe in, should leave Nigeria alone to rediscover themselves, to govern themselves as humans with rights, regardless of what religion? If Muslims want to finish all the Christians, let the Christians in Nigeria fight for their rights. We do not need outsiders. Don't
That's
you
very
think so,
true.
sir? Because I, as an African, can't come to America and then start fighting, taking sides because of religion.
I'm not okay. So first of
Thank
all,
you.
you're a little confused about a few things. God bless you.
Yeah, it's confused.
There's a difference between religion and faith. Okay, religion.
Patronizing.
I call it, and the Christian side is churchianity. It can become its own thing. The structures, the hierarchy, all that stuff. At best, it's something that men do and women and humans build.
Sorry, sir. I'm not trying to. I don't want you to brainwash me. I don't need any more brainwashing. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying
hello.
with you that the religious institution.
Hello. Can you let him, the guest, answer you? If you have follow-up question, I will see whether you have the chance to do that. But let him answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Religious institutions are corruptible, and many of them are corrupted, and that's regardless of the flavor, whether they call themselves Christians or Muslims or anything. Religious institutions are corruptible, and many are corrupt. But that shouldn't cause us to throw away the truth that's underneath it all. The Romans didn't like Christianity because it didn't have a structure. They couldn't control it. It didn't have any of that. It was just people living their faith, and it was contagious. People were drawn to it because these people had a relationship with the living God. So that's the true religion is helping widows and orphans. Anything man-made, you have to be skeptical of, and they can cause more harm than good. Also, Christianity was in Africa, one of the first waves of expansion from Jesus himself. As some of the apostles set up churches and extended to expand the faith in Africa. Anything has to start somewhere. You have KKs all over Nigeria. Those started in India. But to say that Christianity is a Western import is simply patently false. The institutionalization of it, the structures of it, which do cause damage, a lot of them do. A lot of them came from the West, but the underlying faith, the truth, the Bible, that came from God, and there's no harm in that. There's only goodness in that. So I'm gonna push back on that. But from day one, my advocacy has been that Nigeria and Africa, but that needs to rise and throw off the shackles of colonialism. I'm 100% believe that your best days are yet to come when you stand on your own 2 feet and you do it the way that God leads you to do it, and not beholden to the Western world. The no place on earth has been more looted, raped, dumped on, extracted from, divided, and killed than Africa from the outside. And it's a horrific evil for centuries. And I've been very vocal in calling that out and for calling on the indigenous people to rise up and be who God made them to be. Cut the stranglehold, break the chains, rise up. And And I believe God will bless it. Do it righteously. Do it the way God has put in your heart to do it. Don't do it out of violence. Don't do it the way you learned from the West. And I think we'd be in full agreement on that.
All right, thank you. Hello. No, not follow up, not now. What we're going to do, Mike, I don't know how much time. I know we agreed. Maybe you can give us another 30 minutes. But I want to take a break. When we come back, I see Femi here. I see Anne Lechuku. And I want to tell people who have had a chance to interact with our guests, I will take you out of the studio entirely because people want to come in, but they can't because the studio is full. So I will take you out, but we take a break. And when we come back, we do the final section where we will get the guests to talk about a few more things and then take more of your questions. right, welcome back to the concluding part of our conversation with Mike Arnold, former mayor of Blanco, Texas, who has been here for almost 2.5 hours having a conversation with us on the state of Nigeria and what he thinks might happen to the giant of Africa. All right, let me bring in an electrical and let's see if his connection is good now. An electrical, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate your work. Thank you so much for this time. And thank you for the efforts you've made in my home country, Nigeria. We are greatly appreciate you. It's only a devil or a devil's incarnate that will kick against what you did and what you've done in Nigeria so far. You're about 4 hours drive away from me. I'll drive up to Blanco one of these days and give you a handshake and a hug to
All
say
right.
thank you.
You in Houston?
Yes, I am in Houston. Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'll give you a
Stop at
thumb
Bucky's.
drive with your handshake.
Stop at.
Now, I wonder, yeah, go ahead, sir.
I said stop at Bucky's on the way.
Oh, no, sure, I will. Yeah. I want to appeal to you, sir. Please ignore all the noises you have. They are distractors. All the noise you hear, all these sidekicks and side talks, don't pay attention to them. Keep on with your good work, and the Lord will continue to strengthen you. We appreciate you, and God will reward you as you do your job so perfectly well you've done so far. Your reward will await you in heaven as well. Thank you so much. Don't relent and keep doing good.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Anna Electrical. Let's go to Femi. Femi, you are next.
Me, I don't tell that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Mike.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So, whatever I say here, sir, is not necessarily directed towards you. I may have missed the entirety of your presentation today, but I know your precedents and what you've been doing regarding the Christian genocide in Nigeria specifically. However, and granted, you may have said, you may have had responses to certain questions that may tally with what I'm about to ask you. But please just pardon my indulgence on what I'm about to ask you. Now, with regards to Nigeria and Africa generally, and how the West may or may not have contributed to the general prevailing situations with, or especially when you look at the likes of Rwanda and what had happened in, was it 94 or thereabouts? And even if we're extending it, what's happening in amongst even the Christian community in Israel itself, in Gaza, in Lebanon? I was wondering what your opinion is, based again on saying things that you've mentioned, and I'm glad you mentioned those things. And I have no premonition or I have no what's it called? Submissions regarding trying to have any suspicions behind what you may be doing. What would you say to someone like myself that continues to have suspicions about what the West continues to perpetuate in Nigeria? And that's not to say in Africa, and that's not to say that, and that's not to say that again, I do not appreciate what the likes of yourself is doing. I'm a Christian as well, but when you look at what happens in Libya, for example, and how it has also contributed to what's happening in the rest of Africa, how do you if you're going to push back, what kind of pushback will you have on those that have suspicions on what how the West has contributed to this situation in Africa generally?
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I have been a very vocal critic against the United States government and people within it, and anybody that's standing in the way of the protection of the people of Nigeria and their ultimate, best interests in the future. I'm very vocal. I'm an equal opportunity offender. I'm not shilling for one side or the other. I do think, objectively speaking, that there's only a handful of countries on Earth that are potential customers for the kind and quantity of minerals that you have, and you should choose wisely. And I think China has a more visible presence in some ways. The bloodshed that's happening now, that's documented. So maybe they're more obvious about it. I'm not in favor of Nigeria being in the hip pocket of any outside power. advocated and will continue to advocate for the. And I use Nigeria because that's what the world calls the region. Whether it's divided, that's in the future. But I call it Nigeria because that's what it is to the world. I'm calling on Nigeria to industrialize, use your own resources, build your own infrastructure. You have the ability to do so if you were free from the foreign stranglehold and their corrupt puppets. You could be a leader of the free world, and I would love to see that happen, and I would love to help that happen. I don't represent the American government. I am proud to be an American. I think it's, objectively, and maybe I'm biased, I think it's a better option. But your best option is none of the above. Use them yourself. Use your assets, your people, your human resources, your natural resources to do something wonderful all under your own strength. You have every ability to become a real Wakanda and a beacon of light to the world. Let's work together to help that happen. I'm not here to push an agenda beyond that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Femi, for that question. Let's go to Mr. James. He has a question finally. Mr. James, go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Good. Please, I will not ask, should I call it controversial questions. Those who are taking you to task are doing so for a particular reason. We as a people will suffer more than even the Jews. The Africans, they've suffered more than the Jews. So people see things from a different perspective. They have reasons for doing that. That is that. My question is unrelated to what we are discussing. Since you are a man of God, I want to ask you, should I call it a formal question or you should enlighten me? I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the existence of God. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. It means that he was living in darkness. Don't you think that there are so many problems in the world because God created the world while he was in darkness? He could not see clearly. He could not reason properly because there were things he could not see. That's why the world is loaded with problems. Don't you think it's because there was a time he lived in darkness? That's why he said, "Let there be light." So if God was in darkness, it means he created the world out of ignorance. Let me put it that way.
Okay, well, I appreciate the question. You're obviously a thinker. You're putting God in a box, thinking that he's bound by the time-space continuum that he created for our existence. I think of the kingdom of God as a dimension that's beyond that. It actually, if you understand the time-space continuum, I believe that what we know, the known universe, sits in front of him. He created it as a something that he sits above. It's like it's a table in front of him. So he was not in darkness. He created this environment and he put physical light inside that physical environment, which is a certain way that the photons are transmitted. He wasn't sitting in darkness. He created creation, and this is all throughout Scripture, as basically a incubator for his children, to give them the character that they need to rule with him in his eternal domain. And so he created this domain. He bound us to it. We are bound by the time-space continuum. That's part of our curriculum. And he cast the enemy in here for the enemy's punishment. And to this same binding, the time-space continuum. Our calling and what's available to us in Christ uniquely is to connect with that realm beyond the time-space continuum. That eternal light that existed and exists beyond this created realm. God is not subject to the realm he created. Light is a physical thing inside the word that's defined that way. What you call light is a physical thing inside this created realm. And to think that he didn't have elucidation prior to that is just small thinking.
No,
All right.
I'm sorry
Thank you,
to
Mr.
interrupt.
Thank you, Mr.
Please,
James.
let me make a very short follow-up. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There was no heaven, there was neither earth. It means he was homeless.
The word Uranos, well, in Greek is Uranos. I don't remember the Hebrew, but that means the visible sky. He created the sky. He created the solar system. He created what we see. He created the time-space continuum. There's a kingdom, an eternal kingdom that's bigger than that, that is beyond that and is not bound by time and space. So you're thinking small, you're putting God inside the box he himself created, and it doesn't work that way.
No, he does. God does
Okay.
not exist.
No, James, we have to stop it here. Next time he comes, maybe we can talk about religion and instead of mixing it up, so that we can get to other people. We are running out of time.
Maybe you should not be telling our people that are thinking small, that our people are confused. You shouldn't be saying that to our people before us. And I don't know why we shouldn't be saying that we are thinking small. We are confused.
That the guy that just asked me that question is, I think saying that God was in darkness before Genesis 1, I think that's wrong thinking, and it's thinking small. It's not understanding the nature of God. That's not an insult to a nation of people. Don't be absurd. Come on.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, James. Let's go to
agree. Not think small.
Thank you, Doctor.
Forefathers, please.
Nice to see you, Mr. Arnold.
Thank you.
Yes. First, let me graciously thank you for all you've been doing for our suffering people, particularly those in the IDP camps, that you've set up a school to take care of their children and support some of the mothers in different ways. And I'm aware that that IDP camp occupies both Christian and Muslim families. I thank you so much. So the other issue I want to draw your attention to is that our country is in dire straits, and we are looking forward to an election next year. And presently, we have a government that is trying to shrink the space, trying to how do I put it? Trying to ensure that probably there will be no opposition to the ruling party, and they're using every means, including the courts. Recently, they've tried to deregister some political parties. It didn't work. Then last Friday, they did another one that is still a matter of an appeal that may be coming up this week. So I want you to pay attention to that and use your good offices to draw attention, not necessarily interfere in Nigerian affairs, but to cry out to the world or the powers that be to keep an eye on Nigeria and to ensure that there's a level playing field in the elections, to allow Nigerians to freely choose who will lead them or which party will lead them. It's very important because at the moment the country carries on like a master-servant affair where majority of Nigerians may not have a say and things are not going well. So we are looking forward to an election that will be free and fair. If the ruling party wins in the free and fair election, so be it. If another party wins, so be it. So I want you to have that in mind and use your good office and your platforms to create that awareness for us. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. There is precedent for the world to ensure a free and fair election in a country, not just observe, but actually to be hands-on all the way through the system. I've called for that, but not just for to see who wins president. I think there needs to be a referendum on there for a new constitutional convention, because I don't believe anything within the Nigerian political system, any person can change what needs to be changed to fix it. It's a contained environment. The Constitution was written by an Islamic dictator, and it says Sharia and other Islamic terms 165 times, not one reference to another faith. And the ruling elite that contain the political environment and approve what happens in that environment won't allow anybody to go beyond that. When Jonathan tried to, he was first, at that time, the only nation on earth where radicalism was being pushed back. He was advancing, What did they say? If he won re-election, even the dogs and baboons would be covered in blood. They won't let you push out of that. And if you look at the federal government, the fact is the last will be 12 years under APC. Pretty much every employee, every appointment was put in there by these people that have no interest in changing anything. I think you might get some marginal help, if the right person, whoever that is, wins the presidency. But and elections must be free and fair. But I think the real change and the real referendum needs to be for a new constitution that allows for self-determination.
All right, thank you, Ndubisi. Before we go to Stay Humble, I think he's the last person here. Let me ask you, because it just came up, watching the elections going on, the primaries and election in Ekiti, I don't know if you paid attention to how they went. Do you have confidence that 2027 election will be credible?
Has there ever been? No, of course not. There's nothing credible about anything that comes out of this regime or this system whatsoever. Zero chance of any credibility, because the whole system itself has no credibility. It's illegitimate from day one.
So when you talk to lawmakers, like lawmakers in Washington D.C., what do you ever discuss democracy as practiced in Nigeria? What do they think? What do they make of? Because if an election like it happened in Ekiti, somebody won the election and everybody issued a statement and congratulations on the winner, the presidency in Nigeria 2027, if it happens the same way the Ekiti election happened last weekend, they will do the same thing. America will say congrats to the president. Is that right?
That's, there's they call it real politics. You got to look at the real world. If there is no viable alternative, so for example, right now, if Donald Trump had the power, and if he were to say this government is corrupt and this whole regime is and he were to hit a button and it's gone, there's nothing there to take its place. There is no unified movement. There's no unified voice. There's no, that's where the divide and conquer tactic has worked so well. Again, the most divisive posts, and I see this consistently, I mean, time after time after time, literally more than 95% of the most divisive posts are from fake accounts. Somebody is paying to divide the people of Nigeria, tribe against tribe, religion against religion, region against region. Somebody is paying a lot of money to do that. And the only one that benefits from that is this regime. The real issue is, if there was a movement, a unity movement, and a voice or voices and an alternative, then the election would matter more. But the reality of it is, I think that the governments of the world are going to recognize the candidate that they've got under the most control and that they get the most out of. It's just a reality of it. I don't believe anybody at that level operates off of pure principle. I wish they did. There's just the practical reality of it.
All right, thank you. Stay humble, Ernest.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I really appreciate our patience so far. Good evening, Dr. Damages, and good evening, our dear guest, Mike Arnold. I got to know about you when you courageously debunked the lies that were spread by the criminal establishment in Nigeria regarding the Christian genocide, which was clearly happening and still happening. Some people have tried to build a lot of fabrications around that, or to say that because so and so country is interested in oil and stuff, but neglecting the substance of the issue, that there is Christian genocide. And we know that this has been happening. If you're a good student of history, the problem is that either people are ignorant or they are mischievous outrightly. So we do appreciate the work you're doing. to stem the ugly incident that's befalling us in Nigeria. We pray, that God will strengthen you in the fight against this carnage. I don't really have any question for you. Just to encourage you to continue to fight for the downtrodden, for the poor, and continue to cooperate with all the organizations in Nigeria that are also fighting to stem this. Because recently, they've tried to use the media, especially the mainstream media, and even some foreign media, to dampen the sounds and the echoes coming from those who are being killed. To say that, oh, it's ended, there's nothing going on again, etc., and all sorts of untruth. But just like KJ said, we know that this is happening and this is continuing to happen, but we will do everything possible to raise the sounds and let people know that this is happening, because the people that are responsible for this, what they hate is for this to be publicized, for this to be broadcast to people. So even the Bible, say that the Lord gave the word, and great was the company that published it. You are helping to publish the word, and God will richly bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me give you one last question and then give you the chance to give us your final thoughts. You mentioned China several times, and people in Africa, there are some analysts or even scholars talking about second scramble for Africa, with China being the lead. There was this idea of whether the European era, what happened in the past, that the Chinese era will be better. You mentioned this way you described the fact that someone can sue an American company in America, someone can sue an American or British company operating in Nigeria, in Britain, but I don't think that people have any avenue to sue a Chinese company operating in Nigeria and China. So, by your own understanding, how do you see the difference between the way the Europeans operated during the first scramble and what we're seeing from the Chinese and the Indians and the Russians? They're all in Africa.
So it's at two levels, really. I think at the state level, the soulless, predatory, parasitical extraction is similar. And I think of was it Leopold who killed 10 to 15 million, and it was in the Congo. And it's just across the board. Great Britain, I think what's happening today in the UK is the chickens coming home to roost. They're reaping what they've sown. I don't know of a greater force of evil in history, at least in modern, relatively recorded history, is the British Empire when you get down to it. But here's the difference. China is, even back home, a brutal totalitarian regime. They put the Muslims into retraining camps where they're forced to drink alcohol and eat pork. They stomp out anything that's in any way not aligned perfectly with the goals of the Communist Party. It's a horrible regime, anti-human regime. It treats humanity like an ant colony or a beehive. And the humans underneath it are no more valuable than an ant or another insect. So China is and the communist China is a horrible regime. And the West has redeeming benefits that China don't. And in the colonialism that reflected, where in China you just have the predators here to take. When the Europeans came to take, there was an undercurrent of people who used that opportunity to do good. They brought the schools. There's statues to Mary Slessor in Calabar, who ended the infanticide of twins, for example. That's the difference. China is all take and no give, whereas Europe in the past was all the same take, but at least there was an undercurrent of benevolence. I mean, look at the civilization, the good things that came out of that. There are good things that came out of it from the West. Not justifying the bad things, but I'm saying that's the difference. China is evil to its own people back home, and it's worse to the people abroad. At least there's some goodness that came from the West. And I'm saying you should be independent of both. But I'm saying that's the difference. There's goodness on, at least in the equation with the West. There's an effort to do things right.
If you're in Texas and you have your friends around you and somebody asks you to describe a Nigerian, how will you describe the Nigerian?
I always say, and the ones who have met Nigerians, it's easy to say this. Say they're some of the most incredible people I know. Everywhere Nigerians go on the face of the earth, they rise to the top, and they do it right. The United States, most educated group in the United States, and if not the wealthiest, certainly among the wealthiest groups in the United States. And they do it as patriotic Americans. They do it as members of the community. They do it with integrity. Amazing people with so much potential. But and my spiritual father, my mentor, Professor John Ofebu, he's late, dear man. He said, if a Nigerian loves you, he'll die for you. If he hates you, he'll kill you. The first thing I ever saw, literally in Nigeria, landed on the airplane, from the airplane in Lagos, 2010. Walked up the jetway to the airport terminal, and on the wall in front of me was a poster from Zenith Bank. It said, "Welcome to Nigeria, home of a people with passion." And that's rung true. Whatever a Nigerian does, they do with all their heart. And that makes the good ones the best in the world, but it makes the bad ones the worst. But I believe the good far outweigh the bad.
What is it that the typical American doesn't understand about a Nigerian?
Well, there's where to begin. First, most Nigerians literally find Nigeria on a map and don't know the difference between Nigeria, Ghana, and Swaziland. It's just an African nation. They don't know anything about it. They do know that it's a Nigerian internet scammer is just the running joke. Anytime you say Nigerian, people think internet scammers. It's because the internet scammers are so good at it because they're Nigerian. They're passionate about it. But there's not any really positive connotations, unfortunately, for the people who do. Now, and like Afrobeats is not, while it originates in Nigeria, it's not generally pegged as a Nigerian thing. It's pegged as Afrobeats. But yeah, that's generally the impression. It's a big blank for the most part, unless they've encountered Nigerians in their daily life, and there's plenty of those, and they say, "Wow, those are amazing people." It's PR, it's just awareness. When I go elsewhere in the world, from Texas, they think I ride a horse to work. And there's Indians shooting arrows at me. It's just the distance and the stereotypes.
One last question from me. Is Nigeria a shithole country?
That's a good question. I'll take you to the shittiest shithole you could possibly go in, which is in the middle of Abuja, which is some of these IDP camps that the government and the UN denies they exist. And there's survivors of the Gwoza massacre that are still trying to live with nothing in hand-built shanties next to sewage ditches. And many times I've been in that environment, and it's caught my breath that this is at the same time the ugliest place on earth, and it's the most beautiful place on earth I've ever been. It's ugly because of the trauma and the horror the people live in, but it's beautiful because of the people and their dignity and the hope in the midst of that. It's touched me deeply. So, yeah, there's shithole aspects of any nation on earth, and there's certainly shithole aspects of Nigeria. And you can define that different ways. I mean, there's mass graves, that's pretty nasty. But the people are what make it amazing and what give me hope. And just like the IDP camp. It might be the ugliest place on earth, but at the same time, it's the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike.
Can I ask one more question?
No, we don't. We're running up. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here. We are going to invite you again when we have an open conversation. We will narrow it down to genocide, and I think you have a lot to say about other matters, which is something I'm interested in, especially with Mr. James talking about religion and Christianity. Maybe you can give us your insight, and then even forefathers, people who genuinely believe that Africa, the relationship with Africa and the West has not gone well, and that there is blame to share across the board. Again, thank you so much, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you. God bless you. This has been very enjoyable.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I am adure lele, adure lele. Idu kwa samaka onyoma odika powder. Idu kwa samuku onyoma odika fomu. Idu kwa samishi onyoma odika pilo. Oh lo 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 lo, aturu bwebule wakawa iwariwo. Ice. Rosa Olerio, Rosanna Olerio, Rosanna Olerio adikadimba. Adure Oleri, Adure Olerio, Adure, Aturu bwebule wakawa iwariwo. Adure, Adure lele, Adure, Adure lele. Idu kwa samaka onyoma odika powder. Idu kwa samuku onyoma odika fomu. Idu kwa samishi onyoma odika pilo. Oh lo 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 lo, aturu bwebule waka udilio puti.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know I will hear it from so many of you today. It's one of those days, but thank you. I really appreciate those that joined this conversation. I will take a few comments. Remember, there is a follow-up show KJ will host, and there will be time for us to do analysis of what happened on this platform today. But I want to give chance to people who didn't get a chance to ask a question, or those who wanted a follow-up, or those who were not satisfied with the answer they got from their question. So I'll start with you.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just going to ask if you could courteously allow me to go first, please.
Okay. All right. I will. I know that everybody would like to say something. Okay, go ahead, Flagship, so that I can take you out and bring in. I want to bring in people who didn't have the chance.
Right. Thank you so much for obliging me. I wanted to just quickly say this before I leave. I was going to follow up a question to Mike. And my question was going to be that if leverage is what Trump is considering, that is making him withhold the Tinubu files, which in our case right now is very pertinent and critical that we know what they know and use that to make our decisions in this 2027 election that is coming. I think it's being penny wise, pound foolish, because whatever information he's extracting from Mr. Tinubu because of that leverage that he has, it's not helping to quell the situation back home. It's escalating as a matter of fact. And like somebody did mention, the killings are going on every day. And 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Trump told the world that he has quelled or stopped the killings of Christians in Nigeria, but that's far from the truth. And I'm kind of, I wanted to know what Mike's opinion is, considering that Mike Bolus is his name. I believe you know that guy. That is the special advisor to Trump for African affairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's father has, I guess, the SCOA, Score Motors CEO or whatever it is in Nigeria. And that's the guy that feeds Trump his information. So if that guy goes to tell Trump that Nigeria is cool, it's okay, you bombed Sokoto and you did something in Borno, so everything is okay now, it puts the situation at a kind of not a win-win position for him. So I really wanted to get his take on that. Mike Bowe's impact and also the leverage that Trump is using on Nigeria, whatever information he's trying to get from Tinubu. I don't think he's being helpful. That's my opinion. And I wanted to see his take on that. Thank you so much, Rudolph. I appreciate it.
Thank you, the flagship. I will bring him back here within the next 2 months, and we will talk more in an expansive way on other issues, not just genocide. All right, let me bring in Akudike. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Damages, and hello, everyone. So, I listened to Mike, and all I could think of is that in as much as I don't want foreign interference in Nigeria, right? But we are not helping ourselves. Things we should take care of ourselves, right? We have failed to do them, which is what leads to this foreign interference. Had it been we are keeping our house in order, right? Nobody, Trump wouldn't decide to come into Nigeria. Arnold wouldn't come to investigate what's going on in Nigeria. But we have failed to keep Nigeria in order. So previously, I called out those who come here to intentionally mislead Nigerians. Today, I want to call out a similar category of people. Those who blame the West because of, as in, for the woes of Nigeria, right? So my question to these people, as they might be very right, that I give them that, like, there is a possibility that they are very right. Well, I have questions to ask. Why are you more concerned about the allegations against the West than calling out those you believe are being used to destabilize and unalive Nigerians? Why are you more concerned? Because I don't understand it. Why are you obsessed with the West? But those people that are obsessed with you barely hear them calling out the terrorists that are unaliving Nigerians. Why? Why do you excessively call the West out, but always fail to include in your statements those that are seen on the ground perpetrating the atrocities? Why the disproportionality? Why I keep asking myself this question. Why the disproportionality? If you allow yourself to be used to terrorize, unalive, and destabilize Nigeria and Nigerians, you should automatically give up your right to life. But we are busy reintegrating them into the society. Those that have killed and destabilized communities, sacked villages. But you come as in you blame the West every day. I give you that there is credibility to what you're saying, but what have you said about those that are on the ground perpetrating the atrocities? That is my question. Why do we love telling ourselves lies? Like it just seems like people sending Nigerians on white goose chase, as in after shadows. Why there are people the people that are busy committing these atrocities are on the ground, walking free. You can't be claiming to fight insecurity when people that admitted to have brought in militias into the country are in the government. Some of them are busy walking free.
All right. DK, thank you so much. You can expand this conversation when the second
Of course,
segment.
I have a lot to say. I'll just wait for the next program. I have a lot to say. We can't be doing this to ourselves.
All right. Thank you so much.
If that is not ingenuity, I wonder what is.
All right. Thank you. Jagun, welcome to the show. I know you didn't get a chance. I hope you watched. And
I did watch, and it was a fair enough watch. I didn't actually come on whilst he was here. Not really wanting to speak to him, and wanted to hear him. I think it was interesting hearing him, and I am where Ndike's is going, because the exchange between he and Forefather was accurate from his standpoint. He stood up and he said what he had to say. I think the way Forefather came across was as though he had knowledge upon his situation, which clearly he didn't, and the guy called him out hardcore. For me, I could have come on, but am I tackling him? Am I agreeing with him? Neither of the two, really. Neither of the two. And there's nothing I can really challenge him on in terms of the information that he shared. What I mean by that is everything he said, we know, I know. Basically, the ball is the ball is in our court. As people, this is what I've been saying, but everyone's going around it. Everyone's talking because they don't really want to act. I think that's our preference. We're not fighters. The guy said, I'm not talking about. He didn't want to mention the word revolution because he knew it's too much. He didn't want to say the word fight, but that's what it is. He didn't want to use the word violence, but it may come down to that. And whilst I agree with him, I don't want to use violence. In what you are fighting, you have to understand that violence might well have to be used because the people that you're dealing with have been there for an awfully long time. They don't want to give up power. And they're expecting Nigerians just to keep quiet like they always do. So, sometimes I was listening and it seemed as though we were reporting Nigeria to this person. And it's pathetic. Isn't it? Isn't that pathetic? Thank you. Not to say you should say thank you or this, but it was as though they were reporting somebody. Do you know what they did? Do you know what they did to me and my family? It's a pathetic negotiation standpoint, I'm afraid. And I think sometimes we come across as pathetic. I don't know what to say. That's in my mind.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. It's always good to hear different perspectives. Let me get a forefathers in. I'll come to you next for KJ. I know you have to go and prepare. I'll come to you, but I want to hear.
Wow, so it's been me. Forefathers don't come from me, sir. It's okay. Sure.
Hey, stop it. So this is the funny thing about people.
You can't use your position to oppress me. This show.
Jefferson, mind your business. Jefferson, mind your business. I'm not against it. Okay, all right. I think he comes across as your typical white savior complex kind of human being. In the end, that's the summary. And he truly believes he's doing the right thing. And but he doesn't even know he's giving away the condescending signals that comes with such people. Calling, if he's racist, for just calling out, presenting the fact that it's a European that they are talking to on black issues, and completely refusing to listen to me, even if I didn't insult him. I was just describing the events, some of which he described himself. He completely refused, didn't want to hear it. You see, that's the thing that's what gives people up. Did I insult him? Did anybody hear me insult him once? I did not. I was just describing what his people did to our people, and he doesn't want to hear it. But he wants to save us nonetheless. Does he not? Then he called Hello confused, and James thinking small. I can't even count how many condescending statements he's made. And they don't know it when they are doing it. And if you don't know how to read it, if you have not been around people that know how to read them, you miss them easy. And our people come here and say, oh, thank you, sir, for giving us all this support and all the rest. Yeah, it's all good. You think all the missionaries that came were coming with devil pickaxes to come and kill us? No. They all come to help. But by the time you are done, they left your country completely devastated. And he talked about the Kissinger situation, but yet he's still of the American state. He supports Trump. He pretends as if Trump, Kissinger, and Obama are all from a different country. But yet, when he describes that nation, he doesn't want to hear it. That's the giveaway. But our people don't know how to look at it, listen to these our people. And I really feel bad. Like Jagun said, that it's like we are reporting to the headmaster or the master of the house. You know, all those some of our people that used to call them colonial masters and all, you know, they are the ones, they are the same characters that are the ones that are very happy. They don't want to even ask him any questions. They say, thank you, sir. Thank you for, you know, you are really here to help us and all the rest. He considered that Obama regime has something to do with the rise of Boko Haram. He considered that. And even there are reports from a US senator that also said the same thing. And that's what I wanted to ask him, that some of all these things you are saying, because I noticed that you are clear in your mind to be against China, but you are not clear in your mind to be against your country's actions within the continent. It tells you when the chips are down where he belongs. And he took offense for me calling me European, as if that is a strange thing. They call themselves European all the time. If they call me African from the US, am I going to say, oh, I'm black, I'm not African? No, I'm still African and I'm black at the same time. I didn't even call him white. So for me, I find it strange that at this level, he claims to have interacted with a lot of Nigerians. He's still incapable of watching a black person describe some of the things they've done to us. It's unbelievable, actually, given how much he professes to care about our people. And that should tell you something about our people too. That they don't want to look this guy in the eye and see him for what he truly is. They just accept, thank him. This subservient nature of ours, whatever did it to us, we didn't need to ask ourselves a lot of questions. Some of them came on here and said that we are of the devil for trying to ask pertinent questions. But it's all right. And we are going to carry on as we are. Some of us are going to be what they call apologists for the oppression of their own people, while some of us are going to push back and want to really, really change things for the better. And if you want to interact with foreigners, you interact on an equal basis. That's minimum or
Rudolph, excuse me, I can hardly hold myself.
Yeah, please hold yourself. Please hold yourself.
Sorry, no,
I'm begging you.
Hold I'm gonna get away.
Oti, hold yourself. You are not the only person here.
Oti, hold yourself.
If you want to interact with foreigners,
this guy, I can't. I mean, I don't know what he thinks he is. I can't count the number of complices this guy.
I don't know what your problem is. Everything I said was factual. See, okay, because a white man can tell nonsense to you. A white man can tell you nonsense. He show you how useless you are, but you would hate me saying it. You see how useless our people are. Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish? You're getting me pissed now.
Father, you are on point.
No, you are my people. You like it or not? You are my people. That's the stupid thing. Because people like you, sorry. Because you don't have people. You sat here and watch an Oyibo man call your own sister confused. You watch here, you sat here and watch an Oyibo man call James.
Okay, he's a pro-colonialist. What do you want him to do?
Yet when I question some of the things,
and
some of his narrative, you are here to defend him.
Having a conversation.
See how useless our people are. This is the problem with our people.
All
right. Thank you. This is my turn, but I don't know. It's your
turn. No, there's no turn.
No wonder we are oppressed.
All right, everybody, what have you ever done for Nigeria? What have you ever done for Africa? Everybody, calm down, everybody. First of all, there's no turn.
At least I'm not here licking the backside of our oppressors. I'm not here licking the backside of our oppressors.
Why is it I can't meet some people? That's enough. Calm down, everybody. So I don't want us to exhaust reactions here. There's a show coming up, and I just want to hear a snap of. He finds it funny.
I just want to
hear
I'm
glad. A snippet of.
I'm not joking. What do you want me to say? You want me to hit forefathers curse on you?
Forget because you not work anything. See, the forefathers, I know where you are going with this thing. I know where you are going, but let us be honest with ourselves. When Bill Gates and the likes,
it will work because it's a natural one.
No, you need to start removing people. They don't want to obey you.
Yeah, that's
true.
You're right. You're right.
What did you do? He was smiling with us, giving us money, and then they are killing us behind, but yet we said nothing about it. But someone is trying to come here to try to be objective about things that are going wrong, leaving their country. Do you think they don't have other better things to do? As far as I'm concerned,
did I insult him? I did not insult him.
You are not. He's pleasing the white agenda. Which white agenda? How did the white agenda
use his own words against him and he got crossed?
Why are
he is the one that said Obama helped?
He said it because he was being clear about it, that it was a different administration. It was a different administration where all those carnages happened. And they know about it. Of course, that is another layer of
and he's from the same country.
Trying to handle.
All right. So like I said, we don't want this to extend too far. I just want to hear a few people before KJ does an in-depth review of what happened. KJ, can you come on? Jefferson, you've had your chance, okay? Well, you had a chance. I can't do anything about that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Rudolph, you're a great man.
I don't know about that. I'm giving up. I'm about giving up.
Because I think I'm getting to a point where I will give up. Now, this is what I want to say. This guy is on his own. We went to invite him to come and speak on this platform because he is currently being interviewed all around the world for what he's doing. He's not only doing what he has just talked about. This guy has established a school for some of our people and an IDP camps, and he's feeding those people in those camps almost on, in fact, I cannot say on daily basis, feeding them on daily basis year to year for a long time. He's sponsoring some people. Hold on, sir.
Oh God!
So they have to interject to tie the mindset of Africans. So
listen, hold on now, please. Hold on, my brother. Hold on.
When do you spoke?
Anything that I said to him.
KJ, hold on. So Jefferson,
it has nothing to do with what I said to him.
Why is forefathers talking? KJ, Jefferson. So this is the thing, I have no issue with you interjecting, but it doesn't help anybody if we don't hear you at the end, because KJ is speaking. That's all my frustration with you guys. I don't know what you just said, but you spoke. Do you like that? Do you accomplish anything?
Sorry, I think it's my speakers. I think maybe the speaker. I don't know if you can hear me, but
no. The point why we couldn't hear you was that KJ was speaking.
I'm not going to say anything. I know where you're going. I'm not saying anything. But what I'm trying to say is that if someone can leave their country, to come and do a job that our own government officials are able to do, I think it's a problem. Sometimes we need to tell ourselves the truth. Are we doing what we're supposed to do rightly within our own home?
Okay, why don't you wait for your time? Why don't you wait for your time? Pro-colonialists, wait for your time.
Just push me up because I know that's how you guys do.
Let KJ speak.
No, did I interrupt? Is it every time I interrupt KJ? I have to compliment his contribution because of the way this conversation was going.
He has not finished. He has not
I'm not
finished.
saying because I have to shut down KJ. I'm not shutting down KJ.
What do
I'm
you
not
smoke?
shutting you down. I'm just trying to point out our mindset here. The kind of mindset that we have, we are hypocrites and we know it. Someone can tell you to go and crack
And how angry he is that
do
they
things
spoke a white
differently,
man
but
badly.
after someone is coming here to do something different.
All right.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Do what you guys want to do.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jefferson. I'm just saying that this individual who have no relative, no friends in those communities, and may never have, his children may never go to those places. He is living comfortably in Texas. He was a former mayor in Texas. That means he's not looking for food. Okay, he lives the comfort of his home, comes to Africa or comes to Nigeria, as the case may be, starts a school for the people who we have massacred their children and themselves. And the ones that are left, they pick them up, put them inside IDP camps, establish a school for them, so close for them. And we still have something to say about this individual. Even if it's a selfish purpose, you and I are not doing that. Even though when we get such money, we prefer to buy big cars with big tires and go to our communities and oppress the people who can't even afford one. That's what we do. We don't talk to our government officials this way because all of us have government officials in our communities. Even your local government chairman, you don't call them to harass them, to say, so why are you not doing this? We don't. But when somebody volunteers to do it, we find a way to make sure we demoralize the person. And I don't think it's correct. Even if he's doing it for a selfish interest, the mere fact that some lives are being saved is something we should celebrate. And I have no apology for anybody who thinks I come to, to thank him for what he's doing. What he's doing is so important to all of us, even if it's just one life that he's saving. Let me say this, and I want it to be on record. The first time they started Christian genocide or Christian, wiping of Christians in the north, it didn't start today. It started far back as before Mentaseni. We have had Mentaseni in Nigeria. We have had other courts leaders who have also maimed and hemmed people's lives in the north. We have the Miss World pageant massacre of the Ben Bruce own. These are not things that happened yesterday. These have been coming long time, and we've been reporting these things. So when somebody is living his comfort, let's not make it look as, and you see the word you use, majority of those of you who are in the US here, you don't like, the people don't like to be called you white men, and just like we don't like them to call us you black men, you black people. Okay, so I'm not trying to defend anybody. I'm just simply saying the first thing you learn is what the worst English word that we use between ourselves is a bit different from what the meaning carries for them. And that's the first thing I learned here. Because somebody can tell them in America, oh, come on, don't be silly. It's not an excuse, it's not an insult for them. For them, they can tell you get out of here. It's not an insult. But for Nigeria, if you tell me get out of here, I may take offense. So, having said that, because I'm trying to run up so I can move out. Forefather, you say he clearly understands what he wants to do, in his mind. He thinks he's helping. Just like you, when you're talking about Russia, you clearly understand what Putin is doing wrong, and you lay it out. How Putin is losing the war against you, even though you are not there, you don't have any record. Apart from what you read in the on the pages of the internet, you have nothing. You're not taking part in the day-to-day fighting of that war. But you believe they are losing. Just like the same way you have come to tell us America is losing the war against Iran. You have no fact apart from what you read. So when you now when the table is turned and you bring that same argument and tell somebody who is on the ground of what he's doing, who goes there and have people he's employed and paying, giving you data day-to-day running, and you think the person is wrong because you have read something different or you have a different mindset, and you make it look as if the person is actually telling lies. It doesn't tell well, most especially if the person is our guest. We invited him. He mustn't be here. So I still say, once you want to arrange your question, arrange it in such a way that it will not be discord, whatever. It not be degrading, okay, to the person who you are asking the question. Because if I feel insulted, I will come after you. This thing have been done to Professor Dr. Bula for when he came here. Some people ask you questions and make it look as if the man who have read thousands of books, some of us may never ever read until we go to be with the Lord. But we make it look as if the man is just, because we read few books. Let us always bear in mind that what we know may not be all the truth. What you know is not all there is to know. There are many things we don't know. So when you begin to parade yourself as someone who have all the information, it becomes a problem, both to yourself and to those who are listening to you. And even the point you have that we may want to digest, we will treat it out both with the ones you know that is correct. I would just want to say, listen, it's a public platform. It's have yours. You come here, but somebody is taking the pains to go bring these guys to come here so you can listen to them and they can tell you, and then you can make up your mind. What if we keep putting them down, trying to make them look as if whatever they've been doing is useless? They may not come. And you and I cannot sustain the discussion here because we begin to sound like broken record. Let's have an open mind. When somebody comes here and is giving us an information, whether we feel comfortable with it or not, let us first swallow it. Let us first listen to it. Then bring our feedback and let it be not the one trying to let them look as if all the work they've been doing is useless. The man is not an official of American government. He cannot speak on behalf of America, and he made it so clear here. So saying he's an American, how? Saying he's a friend of Trump, the man have said many times, he has not even been in touch with the man in the last 10 years. So let's I beg, help the platform, And see my pain when I said this now, the last statement I made, that majority of you here never post this platform, this link on your face, on your other social networks. You don't post it. You don't repost. You don't invite your friends. We do all the struggle trying to get people here. And yet when the people come, you guys just, find a way to insult them. But you don't even promote this platform. Some of you will not give anything
enough. Well, what was the insult, please? Tell me what the insult was.
Oh, Father, let me just finish.
Tell me what the insult was.
Some other person will tell you because I'm not the only one who heard it. But all I'm simply saying is this. Help us promote the platform. If you feel that the person have said what you don't like, we have a channel dedicated, a time dedicated for you to do your reaction. You can come to the next listing and insult the man and say whatever you want to say. That is understandable. But the first show, please just let the man express himself and wait and bring your fire to the second show and fire whatever you want. There will give you opportunity to say as you like. And because at that time the guests would have gone. It's our platform. It's we can talk to ourselves, we can quarrel, we can fight, we can do whatever. But
you should not be insulting our people and you just say we should accept it.
I don't see
because we want guests. He will insult our people. Yes, Morgan is there.
All right, guys.
Let them tell me the insult.
All right, guys. Hold on, everybody.
For us, the framing of your question was idiotic. Okay, and he never insulted anybody. Okay, so I think you just this year.
And I never insulted him. So if you are saying it's idiotic.
Yes, because
I didn't know black people love white
because it's your opinion. I never
hold on, guys. Hold on.
Now it's idiotic. Before it's hypocrites. First it was insult, now it's idiotic.
Okay, I will start removing people. I don't like it, but I will
remove the pro-colonialists.
I'll start
They are just fighting. I don't know what
it's not something if I don't call you, please don't speak. I want to leave, and there will be time for you guys to have the conversation. Oti, just 2 minutes. Don't exhaust all you have. There is long time, 3 hours for detailed conversation. 2 minutes.
I'm not saying anything anymore, really.
All right. Thank you. I like people who have.
He just want to interject.
Thank you. James, 2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you can join KJ with and spend the next 3 hours.
It's a very bad time in the Gambia. Anyway, I want to see things from both perspectives. Forefathers should kindly allow me see things first from the other side. Look at the other side of the coin before addressing things from his own perspective. Since Shagari, people have been killed in this country. Shehu Sani said about 33 or 32,000 people were killed during Buhari's administration, and nobody was prosecuted, let alone be convicted. For how long should we live under such deplorable conditions? The English people have a saying that a drowning man will catch at a straw. If thousands or thousands of people are being murdered judicially every year, what option do people have? So that's one side of the story. Then the other side of the story is historical. In the year, Liberia, Republic of Liberia is America's foster child in Africa. That's their only colony. They had no other colony. So in the year 1823, there was an attempted coup in Liberia. The president there was Jehudi Oshman or something like that. The Americans prevented that coup from taking place. The U.S. armed forces intervened and they quelled the coup. That has been their colony. They had a military base there. They were, in fact, as I said, it's their foster child. But when in 1980 war broke out, the United States turned their back on Liberia, removed the military base to Iraq, where Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, to go and restore an undemocratic king. Their foster child, they've been nurturing since 1822. They turned their back on them. So the issue is this. They've been in Liberia since 1822 till now. How developed is the Republic of Liberia? You get the point I'm making? So when this man comes and says, I'm doing X, Y, Z to help you, what kind of help will you render Nigeria that the United States government has not rendered Liberia? So this is how I look at the whole show. And one thing we should realize is this. This problem we are discussing, Africa underdevelopment, should no longer be discussed in public. Discussing this matter in public, you're only arming your enemy. Machiavelli, in one of his writings, said, there is no point to issue a threat to your enemy because you are making him, you are preparing him longer than he ought to be in his dealings with you. Because when you are threatening him, you don't know what is going through his mind, but he can know the extent to which you can go. So when you are dealing with your enemy, it doesn't make sense threatening him. So this is how I see this matter. Discussing this matter in public is tantamount to a slave plotting his escape from slavery in the presence of his master. We should stop discussing this kind of matters in public. So this is my opinion. Both sides are correct. It's good we respect him as our guest, but at the same time, you imagine the foul language he used on me. I refuse to respond because he's our guest.
He didn't use any foul language on you, sir.
Yes, he said I think very little. When I told him that God created the world in darkness, that is my opinion. Anybody who is not receptive to criticisms is not fit to lead. It's not fit to be a leader. That is the world we live in. So for him to tell me that my reasoning is shallow, in fact, I really don't want to argue with him. So he has come, and we thank him very much for coming. We hope to meet him again next time. So let us not quarrel over the treatment the white man has meted on us. As I told him earlier on, which you all heard, we have suffered more than the Jews.
James, can I ask you a question? James,
no.
I want to ask him a question.
Don't go there. Don't go there. We don't have
let me
time
just ask me a question.
I'm sorry. You cannot
let me just ask me a question. Then your time is up. So get down from that platform.
No, don't let me use foul language on you because.
Go ahead, you stupid son of a bitch. Go ahead and use the foul language on me.
Unbelievable. I miss this, So this is the point I want to make now because, our guests, when we have guests here, they also share the link to the show and other people will watch it. So it's another reason why we have this break so that at least we sound professional when other people are watching it, like what we are doing now, which is out of out of work. I just wanted to hear, just feedback from a few people, but I think it's going into in-depth fight and conversation that should be reserved for the second show. So I will make sure that KJ starts very soon, quickly, and then we go over there and have the conversation. Where is Pansat? Is it gone?
You kicked him out.
He's gone. Let him
you
go.
Kicked him out.
I kicked him out.
No, he left. He left.
Keep him in the waiting room. Let him remain in the waiting room.
All right. No, but let me just say, hold on, guys.
It's okay.
Why is Jefferson? You've been talking more than anybody else. Hold on. The reason why sometimes I look for certain people is that I want to hear a different perspective. I may not be able to watch the other show that will happen. So I wanted to hear, like, Pansat, that's why I called, not everybody's not important, but I want to hear a different perspective and get a view of the general perspective of how people reacted to the show. That's just what I'm trying to do. Hello was also very feisty today. Ify, let me hear from Ify before Ify, go ahead.
Before me, I'm the oldest minority. Leave this.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. For those of you that are attacking me, just know that I don't even care, not even for one bit. Okay. So the truth of the matter is this issue of waiting for people to come outside to liberate Nigeria. We have had an independent force since 1960. For how many years? None of them were able to liberate us, right? China liberated themselves. They didn't call anybody to come and liberate them. Every time we are waiting for either British or either Americans to come and liberate us. And let me ask you something. Tell me one country America has ever liberated. Just tell me. Tell me. Obama invaded Libya, and look at where Libya is today. To be honest with you, for those of you peddling this narrative about the issue going on in Nigeria to the white Christian, for those of you peddling this narrative that the fight we are fighting in Nigeria or the terrorists is about the Christians and Muslims, you are lying. It's not true. You can say that initially when this thing started, yes, they were attacking Christians. But what is happening today? If you're coming to liberate Christians, be ready to liberate Muslims also who are innocent. I am a Christian, but I cannot sit down here and let you people make other people feel stupid. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of you Christians are going to be mad at me, but I don't give a F about anybody. You Christians are hypocrites more than anybody. And let me say it and let's say it clear. When Deborah was burned to death, how many of your pastors spoke up? How many of your pastors? Not even one. Not even the president. Atiku tweeted and, retrieved the tweet and said that, he wasn't the president. None of your Nigerian pastors stood up against the injustice done to this family. Now you're waiting for somebody from a different country. Imagine me being a local government chairman. I will say that I'm coming to America to liberate America. How would that sound? Forget about the issue of race. Trump, you're waiting for Trump to come and liberate you while Trump is busy fighting with not releasing the Epstein file. You're waiting for Trump to come and liberate you, release the Tinubu's file. How is that even possible if he doesn't have any interest in Nigeria?
If you can I ask you a question?
I don't understand the point.
Can I ask you one
hold
question?
Hold on.
No
Sir,
question.
Please stop.
No question.
Please stop. And not
none.
Please stop. I've tried as much as possible to respect you every time.
Bam.
Please stop. I didn't call your name.
Bam.
When it's time for you to speak,
I just want to ask you a question.
No question. Let him finish. Let her finish.
Please let me hear
you are not the only
view.
person. Let us finish.
Respect is reciprocal. Bam.
What is going on? Every time I come here to say something, you will always find something to tell me.
I said I want to ask you a question.
I'm not going to answer your question. When it comes to your ask anybody. I'm not going to answer your question. You disrespected me enough.
Can you imagine?
You have disrespected me enough.
I said I want to ask you a question. How is that a disrespect? You
Stop
guys
it.
are out of
I
your
don't want
minds.
to answer your question.
Oti, you are not the only person
You don't
here.
have
Stop
to, but
asking
that's an
questions.
insult. I just want to ask you a question.
I don't want to answer your question. Period.
Great, but that's no
You
problem.
push me. You push me a lot, and I'm gonna lose it.
Come on, lose it. You guys are going out of your minds.
Stop it, sir. Stop it.
Sir, she said no. I'm a woman too, so
I will ask you a question when you finish. You don't have
Don't do that here. I'm a woman. Don't do that to
now
her.
I've lost my track of what I'm saying. Papu Joka, go ahead. Enough of this foolishness. Every time I come here, you will always attack me for one thing or the other. You keep your opinion, I keep my opinion.
Can I ask you a question?
We can never agree. On this channel now, a few hours ago, somebody said that they would rather let white people to recolonize them. And Nigeria, he said the mentality you people have because the person is a white person. It's something. How many years you haven't gotten your independence? You're waiting for someone to come and liberate you. You will wait until 100 years. Your country will never be liberated. Nigerians will need to liberate themselves. Enough of this foolishness. What kind of nonsense is this? I'm not afraid of you, sir. If that's the way you talk to your wife, I'm not there. I'm not your wife.
Calm down.
That's the way you talk to other women. Don't talk to me like that.
Calm down, please.
I want to ask
I respect people. Go and ask. I'm tired of you, sir.
This really shows how
Mr. Oti, stop bullying people, Joe. You're always too much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Please. No, Oti, no, please.
Okay, good.
No. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I have shared the link to the next stream. KJ is ready to go there. KJ is ready to start the stream. I want to hear hello. I think I was having issues with her. That was thinking that she was avoiding me whenever I'm posting.
But you people are more devil than anybody. Wicked people, so-called Christians. You people are more wicked than anybody.
If you don't let them upset you, I beg, Jare.
If he, okay. All right, so I want to hear hello, and then I will thank everybody that joined us today. Thank the people that supported us, and we will all move to KJ's.
I'm the last. You put me up already.
As we put him, we'll all leave. Don't worry.
Yeah, we go to KJ's stream, and then we can go ahead and. So hello, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Dr. Rudolph Okonkwo.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, it's been wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, you have anything to say before I close this?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, respect is reciprocal, regardless of what color of skin you have, regardless of your background, regardless of your race. The way you get what you deserve, the way you mirror yourself, that's how you will get. No one is afraid of anybody. I know that Africa is not where it should be, and it's for a reason. And the Kissinger report is a specimen, and that's why I asked: is it fulfilling its prophecy? I never came in to be disrespectful. I came in to have a voice, and I deserve that voice respectfully. I was not rude, but he was condescending. I believe there are a lot of problems in America that need solving. And I'm trying to say to him, respectfully, I know that things are happening in Nigeria. I know we have corruption going on, just like other countries in the world. They have different faceted type of problems they have. Nigeria has its own unique problems. Perhaps you've tried all this time. Leave us alone politely. Just leave us. Let's rediscover ourselves. He's talking about religion. Yes, the way our forefathers worshipped God those days is different from this type of colonial mindset of religion that is foreign, that has been repackaged and brought to us like as if we are illiterates. And then now is someone now condescending to the level using English to try to blackmail me or brainwash me won't work. English is not my first language, but I ain't a fool. When you're trying to recolonize my mindset again on the public media in 2026, brainwash me again, and then say I'm confused instead of you to answer the questions, point by point. If you think I got it right, educate me. I like to learn. I have an open mind as a proud Nigerian. I want Nigeria to work. But Nigeria's problem is not just inside Nigeria, it's outside Nigeria. And I'm saying if he helps to cut off that outside hand, that is affecting us. We will now focus inside of our problems. We don't need you. You're talking over us, making noise as if you care more. You cannot love my country more than I loved Nigeria. And then you come publicly to talk as if you're a god. Damn you, man. I have respect and it's reciprocal. You cannot kill me twice, man. You cannot keep recolonizing me every second and you're now pointing finger of who is recolonizing me, Russia. Then what? Just leave us alone. That's my point. I'm trying to say to him, you don't need to be bitter if someone is trying to tell you history, because we are the ones that we are feeling it. We're wearing the shoes and we know history. I'm saying, as an African child, as a bona fide Nigerian, enough is enough. Focus on your problem in your backyard and leave us alone. And then the story changed. Look at the UK Parliament. Look at how what's his name? These people interview each other in the Parliament. You see the level of conversation is heated, but it's not rude. People speak straight. You don't need to sack, yes, no painting. Just go straight. That's the way it should be. Respectfully. Thank you, sir.
Hello, thank you so much. Again, let me remind people that the other stream is ready and we are going to move over there. Let me also say that I did not remove Pansat. So Pansat, if you're watching, I was actually looking forward to hearing your view during this segment. But if you can come to the next stream, that would be good. On this note, let me just thank people who supported us. I want to thank Team Ajek for your support. Real K, thank you so much. Israel, thank you. AI Village, thank you so much. Hold on, Oscar Blackstone, thank you. Igbo Basics, thank you. I know Igbo Basics, he's driving or he wanted to come in. Unfortunately, we don't let people drive in. Kulata, thank you. Brick House Capital, thank you so much. I wanted to check on you. I've seen you in a while, but I'm happy to see you. Pansat, thank you. Kulata, thank you. And Alexander Gomez, thank you. Nana, thank you so much. Finally, Kowodike, thank you. And Zoba, thank you so much. All right, so we're going over to the next one. I will actually step in because I really want to hear some of these things, but we want to make sure that this one we close it up so that other people will watch and it will at least look decent. Those at the back end, Ovie, thank you. I could see you. Femi, thank you so much for joining us. Jefferson, thank you. Jefferson, I want to hear more of your expanded view. So hello, thank you so much for being here. Ifi, thank you so much. Ndubisi, thank you. Forefathers, thank you. Oti, thank you. IY, thank you. And Jagun, thank you. And I will see you guys at the other end.
Where is the link?
I just shared. It's on the comment section. I will share it.
Comment.
Yeah.
Tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀ o. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí. Lọ́nà èyí yóò.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you.